D Pro, world's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
I don't care for no songs and proses. I don't care for no sweet boys with roses. All I want is a touch of love.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
We reached an agreement on patrolling. We have gone back to where the situation was in 2020, and we can say with that the disengagement process with China, you can say, has been completed. The understanding, to my knowledge, is that we will be able to do the patrolling which we were doing in 2020.
NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the topmost news platform in the country. Number one in both online and offline reach in India. Beating all its competition, NDTV stands for trust.
I don't care for no songs and proses. I don't care for no sweet boys with roses. All I want is a touch of love.
Hello and welcome to India Sense, where I speak with global opinion makers.
The United States has made a strategic decision over the last 20 years to move closer to India.
So a $7 trillion economy seems a perfectly conceivable number.
If you want to be a national party, it's that you sort of accept the way the world is rather than want to endlessly hark back to how it was.
Modi is promoting the digitization of the economy, which is accelerating growth in the country.
New day, new show, a new experience.
Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
And impact your life.
news that informs and keeps you ahead. From Maximum City, Mumbai,
To the seat of power, Delhi.
NDTV brings you the best breakfast show. Breakfast news on NDTV, 8 a.m. every day.
I now request the Honorable Prime Minister to launch NDTV World and address the summit.
It was the grand launch of NDTV World by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. NDTV World, as he laid out his vision for the India century at the NDTV World Summit.
ऐसी सदी जिसमें भारत के प्रयासों से दुनिया में स्थिरता आए.
In the presence of those who are shaping our future.
मेरी तरफ से आपको ढेर सारी शुभकामनाएं हैं.
NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
NDTV proudly presents NDTV World Summit 2024, the India Century. I now request the Honorable Prime Minister to launch NDTV World and address the summit.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's inaugural session at the NDTV Summit outlined his vision for the India century, driven by aspirational India.
हमारा प्रयास होगा भारत की सेंचुरी सिर्फ भारत की नहीं बल्कि पूरी मानवता की जीत की सेंचुरी बने.
The summit brought together prominent global leaders, highlighting India's pivotal role on the world stage.
The Adani Enterprises Limited, the flagship company of the Adani Group, announced its results today for the quarter and half year ending 30th September. AEL has recorded its highest half-yearly EBITDA of rupees 8,654 crore, which is consistently supported by strong performance from emerging core infra business under its incubation portfolio. The emerging core infra business has recorded half-yearly EBITDA of 5,233 crore rupees with an increase of 85% year-on-year basis on back of robust operational performance. That's all the time that we have in this edition. News and update will continue here on NDTV. Stay tuned.
I don't care for no songs and proses. I don't care for no sweet boys with roses. All I want is a touch of love.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
India's IT capital is always bustling. It's literally a city that never sleeps. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
We reached an agreement on petroling. We have gone back to where the situation was in 2020, and we can say with that the disengagement process with China, you can say, has been completed. The understanding, to my knowledge, is that we will be able to do the petroling which we were doing in 2020.
NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the topmost news platform in the country. Number 1 in both online and offline reach in India. Beating all its competition, NDTV stands for trust.
Hello and welcome to India Sense, where I speak with global opinion makers.
The United States has made a strategic decision over the last 20 years to move closer to India.
So a $7 trillion economy seems a perfectly conceivable number.
If you want to be a national party, it's that you sort of accept the way the world is rather than want to endlessly hark back to how it was.
Modi is promoting the digitization of the economy, which is accelerating growth in the country.
New day, new show, a new experience.
Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
and impact your life.
News that informs and keeps you ahead.
From Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of power, Delhi,
NDTV brings you the best breakfast show.
Breakfast news on NDTV, 8 a.m. every day.
I now request the Honorable Prime Minister to launch NDTV World and address the summit.
Commission rejects Congress allegations about irregularities in Haryana elections and cautions the party against unfounded charges. Nominations come to a close in Maharashtra, both alliances still to decide on a few seats, even as parties get battle ready. Scrutiny on Gujarat journalist agencies claim corporate espionage. In fact, extortion ring agencies also claim bureaucrats are under scanner. More trouble for arrested Gujarat-based journalists. Noida to Chennai, big drug seizures have happened. 27 crore meth seized in Chennai. A lab has been busted in Noida. Meth lab busted in Noida, even as joint forces of NCB and Delhi police recover 95 kg of meth. 4 accused have been arrested. In fact, role of a Tihar jail warden is under scanner. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's blistering attack on West Bengal and Delhi government. In fact, the Prime Minister has said that West Bengal and Delhi government have opposed Ayushman Bharat schemes in their respective states for their own political reasons. TMC has now hit back, saying that the Prime Minister's statement is politically motivated, while the Aam Aadmi Party has said that it sees no point in implementing the Ayushman Bharat scheme. Meanwhile, it's Dhanteras today. Markets are decked up even as people throng to buy on Dhanteras Day. Demand for gold, silver high despite jump in the price. Gold prices spike over 30% since last Dhanteras. Hello everybody, starting with some breaking news. EC has rejected INC allegations about irregularities in Haryana elections. They have called the claims completely baseless. The Commission has cautioned the party and other political parties against unfounded and sensational complaints at sensitive junctures like polling and counting days. They've also called these allegations completely irresponsible. They've said that something like this could also lead to public unrest. Joining me now is my colleague Sunil Prabhu, who also tracks the Congress and the Election Commission of India. Sunil, take us through the complaints that the Congress party had filed. This was to do with the functioning of the EVMs, and now the ECI has responded. Tell us what is the party thinking now?
Well, the complaint has now come a little bit too late, and I mean the response has come, but nevertheless, at least it brings a finality and a closure to that entire process of the Haryana elections. As you are well aware, the Congress had alleged that there was some 99% battery increase, and it's in that backdrop that they had made complaints in 19 to 20 constituencies in Haryana, individually as well as collectively before the Election Commission, where the Election Commission had said that this is extremely disturbing, but nevertheless given a hearing to the entire high-level Congress party delegation immediately after the election results were announced. It's in that backdrop now that they made it very clear, and a very strongly worded 8-page letter to the to the Indian National Congress, very categorically saying to stop this continuous tirade against the electronic voting machines. They have changed the FAQs. They have also very categorically responded on various points and said that you must stop these frivolous complaints, giving a history of constitutional courts upholding the EVM process. Also making it clear that the Congress has been responsible for a number of unfounded claims, right from Karnataka elections to the Lok Sabha elections, and saying that this is extremely disconcerting. So extremely strong words from the Election Commission. From the Congress perspective, they have always said that they were expecting this response from the Election Commission. They weren't expecting anything better, and they are quite clear that the Chief Election Commissioner or the Election Commission cannot be a touch-me-not. They are stakeholders. They have a right to complain, and they cannot be, refrained from, making some kind of, what they call points that they feel are against them. But nevertheless, I think the Election Commission has given an extremely strong worded letter to the Congress party, giving its response on a point-to-point basis. We'll have to wait and see how the Congress officially responds. But as I said, this is now just basically an academic exercise. The election results have been announced. Nothing is going to change. The process is over. there could be a lot of questions on how the Election Commission conducted the Haryana elections, for example, the change of the date. But that's anybody's guess. That's now all academic, as I said.
Right. Thank you, Sunil Prabhu, for joining us with those details. ECI's important response there to the Congress party, claiming that the Congress party had raised a smoke of generic doubts when it was faced with an inconvenient electoral outcome. This is after the Haryana setback that the Congress faced, that it raised some very serious concerns on the working of the EVMs. Now the ECI has responded. Moving on to some election stories, the process of filing nominations for Maharashtra Assembly polls has ended today, and the suspense, however, continues on multiple seats. In fact, both on MVA and Mahayuti camps, there is uncertainty on key seats. MVA hasn't confirmed candidates on 16 seats, while Mahayuti is yet to finalize candidates on about 5 seats. The decision is yet to be announced. Nominations have, however, come to a close in Maharashtra. Both alliances are yet to decide on a few seats. My colleague Radhika, who's been tracking this very closely, joins us. Radhika, the filing of nominations is done, but of course there is time for the withdrawal of nominations. Today we saw a large number of candidates also file nominations as independents and also from a certain party. Tell us about the seats where there was a fight till the last.
Well, there were multiple seats where there was fight till the last. One is, of course, Mankhurd Shivaji Nagar seat, where we saw Nawab Malik, quite persistent there. He was quite keen on contesting from NCP Ajit Pawar ticket. However, he was also ready to file his nomination as an independent, and it was at least about 5 minutes before the deadline that he in fact got that particular form, and he was fielded as a candidate from NCP Ajit Pawar. Well, something that may not go down well with the BJP. We'll have to see what kind of reactions we'll get, because so far, BJP had been opposed to his candidature or even any official position he's been holding in that particular party. So yes, that is one. And apart from that, Mumba Devi constituency, which went to Shaina NC, BJP candidate from there was not happy with it. So therefore, he decided to file his nomination as an independent. Of course, Shaina NC switched sides to Sena. In fact, she will be contesting on Sena symbol. Besides that, there's Borivali seat where Gopal Shetty, who had been an MP there, who did not get a ticket at the time of Lok Sabha elections, once again deprived of a ticket during assembly elections as well. He decided to contest there as an independent candidate. Now, all in all, there are issues within MV as well as Mahayuti over multiple seats. Nomination deadline is over. Still, there's uncertainty over 15 seats. Sharad Pawar just declared 87 seats, so which means 11 seats undecided as far as Mahayuti, I beg your pardon, as far as MV is concerned, and 4 seats undecided as far as Mahayuti is concerned. And mostly because there are multiple seats in which several people, many leaders have shown interest in and also filed their nomination papers as well, and many rebels as well filing for a candidature. So there are negotiations still going on. There could be negotiations going on in the next few days as well. But some sort of official confirmation as to what the final formula will be is something that we are awaiting at this point. But for now, there is no clarity or official confirmation on at least about 15 seats in both Mahayuti and MVA combined, and there's still negotiation going on. There will be pressure tactic, especially from the side of many candidates, especially on seats where multiple candidates are vying for the same seat, which is where all the negotiation will happen. We'll have to wait till the nomination withdrawal date. The deadline for the nomination withdrawal is November 4, which is when there will be more clarity on a few seats. But as of now, no clarity. There is uncertainty over multiple seats within both the alliance partners.
Also, Radhika, has this whole run-up to nomination filing also in some ways created conflicts within the alliance? Because if you look at MVA, Congress and UBD Sena have both declared candidates for seats like Baikula and also Dharavi. And Dharavi, of course, Sena has not done it. So what has this led to in terms of the relationship amongst allies both in Mahayuti and MVA?
Yes, Yes, there have been, as you said, in multiple seats where several leaders were showing interest. They were vying for the same seat. In fact, Congress, Sena relations soured as a result of, dispute within Vidarbha as well as Mumbai seats. We did see war of words between Nana Patole as well as Sanjay Raut within MVA. As far as Mahayuti is concerned, we saw how disgruntled Nawab Malik was. And as a result of it, there was bad blood, in a sense, between Ajit Pawar as well as Shinde Sena and Devendra Fadnavis, as they were not really keen on fielding Nawab Malik. And similarly, multiple more candidates for which there were disputes and differences of opinion among the allies. And it was something that was on the expected lines, considering there are multiple parties in fray here. And for the first time, they are fighting this election together, which is why all of this confusion and chaos. And it may take some more time for it to get resolved at this point. But certainly uncertainty over many of these seats continue. And as a result of it, the rift among many of these leaders, top leaders within the alliance partners, has also grown.
Right. Thank you, Radhika, for joining us with those details. Uncertainty over several seats in Maharashtra, even as the date for nomination has ended. Moving on to other important stories, the Gujarat Police and the Enforcement Directorate have made big claims in the arrest of Hindu journalist Mahesh Langa in a fraud case. Now, the agencies have claimed that they are probing it as a corporate espionage case, and they also suspect a larger conspiracy. In fact, the Gujarat Police have filed a fresh case for a fraud of 28 lakhs against Mahesh Langa, whose premises were earlier searched by the agencies and the cash was recovered from there. In fact, the Editors Guild and the Hindu have condemned this action against Mahesh Langa, who was the paper's correspondent in Ahmedabad. Let's first listen in to what the Ahmedabad CP said today.
आज उसके खिलाफ हम एक और एफआईआर दाखिल करने जा रहे हैं। लगभग 28 लाख के करीब चीटिंग की एक एफआईआर, एक कंप्लेनेंट आया है। और उस एफआईआर की डिटेल से पहले मैं बताना चाहूँगा कि यहाँ हमने जो अभी तक इन्वेस्टिगेशन की है वो पुलिस बहुत ही प्रोफेशनली कर रही है, कोई उसमें डाउट नहीं है। इसकी डिटेल में बताना चाहूँगा। सबसे पहले तो इसमें जो जीएसटी डिपार्टमेंट की तरफ से एक एफआईआर दाखिल करी गई थी 7 अक्टूबर को। उसके बाद महेश लांगा और कुछ एसोसिएट्स को अरेस्ट किया गया, घर पे उसके सर्च की गई। उसके घर पे करीब 20 लाख कैश मिले, कुछ डॉक्यूमेंट्स, इंक्रिमिनेटिंग डॉक्यूमेंट्स मिले। ये चीटिंग की है। चीटिंग एक वन पर्सन जिसने कि पैसे दिए थे लगभग 28 लाख के, और उसने उनका काम नहीं किया और पैसे वापस नहीं दिए। अब उसे पता लगा कि महेश लांगा अरेस्ट हो गया है, तो ये कम फॉरवर्ड और उसने एक एफआईआर हमने दाखिल उसकी अभी कर रहे हैं।
Well, moving on, cops raided a production center in Kasana industrial area of Uttar Pradesh's Gautam Budh Nagar today and recovered 95 kg of drug in solid and liquid forms, as well as other chemicals such as acetone and phosphorus. In fact, the narcotics were being manufactured for sale in India and abroad. This is what police said. Meanwhile, a massive drug seizure also took place in Chennai. Chennai NCB has seized over 27 crore worth meth today. Joining me now is Sam Daniel from Chennai and Tanushka from New Delhi. To you, Sam, first, DMK a few months ago was in spotlight, was under scrutiny for one of its party workers being, being trapped or, in some ways being involved in drug seizures and drugs involvement. So, how is the DMK looking at this? What has the government said in this regard?
Well, Vasudha, the DMK had immediately expelled that particular Jafar Sadiq, who the NCB had then accused of smuggling 2,000 crore worth of drugs allegedly out of India. And the party says it has no role in that, and that's why it had immediately expelled him. But with many more seizures coming up on a regular basis from Tamil Nadu, particularly in Chennai, there is worry that the state is turning into a hub for drug smuggling. And there is also criticism that the state police is not effectively cracking down. And this has been denied both by the police and the ruling DMK. Just a week ago, police had arrested a group of fresh engineers who had attempted to make methamphetamine by themselves at their own lab In fact, they had roped in a gold medalist chemistry postgraduate student for this. And it's in this context there is worry. But Chief Minister M.K. Stalin, in his appeal, has asked youngsters, particularly the youth, to say no to drugs. At the larger level, he says there should be a coordinated attempt by all states across India to address this challenge of drug smuggling. This he had addressed during a conference of the DGPs from South India. That's the political stand. But the worry is that the state is turning into a kind of a hub for drug smuggling. And this seizure today is a seizure of around 2.7 kilograms of methamphetamine by two men, including a Sri Lankan national from Kanyakumari, who was first arrested. And the police have also recovered a cash of 15 lakh rupees, which they suspect could be proceeds of the sale of drugs.
Right.
Vasudha.
Right. Thank you, Sam Daniel. Also, Tanushka, 95 kg of meth, a Delhi businessman arrested, and also this suspicion that there's a Mexican cartel involved. What do we know so far on the Delhi drugs seizure case?
Well, Vasudha, what we know is that the Narcotics Control Bureau, in a joint operation with the special cell of the Delhi police, busted this laboratory wherein meth was being, formed and was being made. It was a clandestine bust, and along with this, other synthetic drugs such as red phosphorus, sodium hydroxide, acetone were also found from the laboratory in Kasana industrial area, which is in Gautam Budh Nagar, and 4 people have been arrested as of now. One of them, the links have been found to a Delhi-based businessman, and the other being a warden of the Tihar jail. These two were apparently instrumental in the establishment of this meth laboratory, and the other 2 people, one of them being a Mumbai-based chemist, and the 4th person being involved, a member of this Mexican drug cartel. So links have also been found to this Mexican drug cartel, wherein 95 kilos of meth have been found on 25th of October, and these 4 people who've been arrested were also produced in front of the magistrate on 27th October, and they have been sent to police custody for 3 days.
Right. Thank you, Tanushka, and thank you, Sam, for joining us. From Chennai to Delhi, a lot of drugs have been seized, making it clear that this is a menace that would need a coordinated counter to it. Moving on to other stories, quick commerce platforms Blinkit, Big Basket, Swiggy, Instamart and Zepto have promised to deliver gold and silver coins to your doorstep this Diwali, and that too in just 10 minutes. These services have partnered with jewelers across the country to meet the growing demand for precious metals this festive season. But will quick commerce hurt retail stores? That's the big question. NDTV's Sakshi Bajaj brings a ground check on festive trends.
You can see the traffic, the crowds really increasing here. We are in New Delhi's GK1 M Block Market, and you can see while we have been speaking to jewelry store owners and we've been getting you the reactions there from consumers as well as what retail store owners have to say, now you can really see the festive spirit in the markets. You can see that people are here on Dhanteras, which is considered very auspicious, to not only buy gold and silver but also to buy diyas, to buy lots of items really to decorate their house ahead of Diwali for the festive season. Remember, it is Diwali soon, and you can really see the color, and we'll just speak to some customers and ask them what are they buying. So what are you buying this Dhanteras, and what are you buying for Diwali as well?
So for Dhanteras, I picked up some household things like kadhai and a frying pan, and I picked up one atta gunne wala parat, which is I think very auspicious.
Right.
So something in metal that's said that you have to buy for the household. Right. So that I bought because gold is reaching the high sky, so can't afford that. Right. And for Diwali, I always traditionally buy these big diyas jo sari raat jalte hain. And this time Diwali being divided on 2 days, so I picked up a little bit more that I want all 3 days ki Diwali pe diya bada wala jale. And few other things, there's a chaukhut and there's a ghar wala 4 diyas and all just
Absolutely. So like you heard, many saying that look, gold and silver prices are at a record high. So you know what, we are going to buy other items, we're going to buy diyas. Given the fact that it is at least a 3-day festive spirit here now, we're also going to speak to some others ahead of Diwali on what they are buying. Hello ma'am, what are you buying ahead of Diwali?
I'm bringing Ganesh ji and Lakshmi ji home.
Right.
Not
Nothing much, just basic diyas. And what do you have to say about the quick commerce and e-commerce, momentum really at large picking up?
About that right now.
You don't want to talk about that? You're here to personally see what you
it's
want?
really amazing to be shopping and doing all these things, but the traffic is so bad and the congestions are really horrible. But yeah, we want to decorate our houses and make everything look so beautiful and expansive. So a little bit of hassle in the travel, but the things here are beautiful and I think it's really nice.
Right, so hassle in the travel as you heard, but of course the festive spirit and the products in the markets, like you heard customers say, very, very beautiful. They want to come here, buy a lot of these things, look at them personally themselves to decorate their homes, and not just homes really. Remember, Dhanteras is considered very auspicious to, of course, buy the precious metals, gold and silver, and despite prices hitting a record high, despite the quick commerce and e-commerce trend coming in, you will hear voices really from retail stores and retail store owners telling us that look, we are witnessing similar trends to last year, and really the record high prices then don't seem to dent sentiment anytime soon. You can see the festive rush really at large, and of course you can see that many are here. Look at the mehndi designs also being displayed just ahead of Diwali, so that really also taking center stage on Dhanteras and just ahead of Diwali. So what are you buying? What are you both buying this Diwali?
For rangolis.
Rangolis, right. So rangolis really, diyas to decorate the homes also taking center stage, as you can see in the market here. And of course, as far as retail store owners are concerned, they believe that look, a lot of customers want to come personally and choose what they want, whether it is jewelry or whether, as we can see in the markets, it is what they want to decorate their homes.
So a lot of festivity there and people on a shopping spree as it is Dhanteras, and of course the festive season, Diwali season begins from here. Moving on to another important story, Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched health insurance coverage for all senior citizens aged 70 years and above today, and this is regardless of income under his government's flagship initiative Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. Let's listen into what he said.
धन्वंतरी जयंती पर ये गारंटी पूरी हो रही है। अब 70 वर्ष से अधिक उम्र के देश के हर बुजुर्ग को अस्पताल में मुफ्त इलाज मिलेगा। ऐसे बुजुर्गों को आयुष्मान वय वंदना कार्ड दिया जाएगा। सरकार का प्रयास है कि देश के हर बुजुर्ग जिनकी आयु 70 वर्ष के ऊपर है, उनको जल्द से जल्द आयुष्मान वय वंदना कार्ड मिले। और ये ऐसी योजना है जिसमें आय की कोई पाबंदी नहीं। गरीब हो, मध्यम वर्ग का परिवार हो, उच्च वर्ग का परिवार हो, हर कोई इसका लाभार्थी बन सकता है। जो इस योजना का लाभ लेना चाहता है, इस देश का नागरिक, वो इसका लाभ अगर 70 साल से ज्यादा उम्र है, ले सकता है।
That's the Prime Minister there making an important announcement. Moving on, Adani Enterprises Limited, the flagship company of the Adani Group, announced its results today for the quarter and half year ending 30th September. In fact, AEL has recorded its highest half-yearly EBITDA of rupees 8,654 crore, which is consistently supported by strong performance from emerging core infra businesses under incubation portfolio. The emerging core infra businesses have recorded half-yearly EBITDA of rupees 5,233 crore with an increase of 85% on year-on-year basis on back of robust operational performance.
I am pleased to report that AEL has achieved the highest half-yearly EBITDA, boosted by the consistently increasing contribution from these emerging infra businesses. In the first half of 25, we saw consolidated EBITDA increase by 47% to rupees 8,654 crore. Consolidated profit before tax increased by 137% to rupees 4,644 crores, and consolidated income was up 14% to rupees 49,263 crore. EBITDA from the emerging businesses jumped by 85% and accounted for 60% of the consolidated EBITDA. Adani New Industries reported EBITDA jump of 181% to rupees 2,763 crores on account of 91% growth in sales. AEL's integrated backward supply chain approach led to improved EBITDA margin and helped with uninterrupted supply, resulting in the module sales for the first 6 months to cross 2 gigawatt. Airports business EBITDA grew by 32% to rupees 1,426 crore on account of growth in passenger movements and improving non-aero business. The passenger movement at Adani Airport is currently at over 90 million per annum. The total income of incubating businesses for the first half increased sharply by over 63% to rupees 17,287 crore, while total PBT increased by 138% to 2,878 crore.
Time for a short break. More news and updates on the other side.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge 50 Pro, world's first AI-powered pro-grade camera.
Augmenting the healthcare infrastructure is our priority. Initiatives related to the sector launched today will make top quality and affordable facilities available to citizens.
I don't care for no songs and proses. I don't care for no sweet boys with roses. All I want is a touch of love.
तालियों के साथ हम स्वागत करेंगे आदरणीय मोदी जी का।
छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज की।
Corruption first, आमचा agenda आहे nation first.
घोषणा आणि जनतेचे पैसे लुटणं.
कट कमिशन आणि करप्शनला आमच्याकडे थारा नाही. त्यांचा परिवारवाद आमचा महाराष्ट्रवाद.
महाराष्ट्रामध्ये 1,75,000 जागा रिक्त पण का भरत नाही? राज्याची जनतेच्या घमाच्या पैशाची तिजोरी लुटण्यासाठी हे सरकार आहे.
पूर्वीच्या सरकारच्या काळामध्ये निधी देताना त्यांना असं वाटायचं की त्यांच्याच खिशातले पैसे चालले. शेतकऱ्यांना मोफत वीज देण्याचं काम आपल्या सरकारने सुरू केलं.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai. India's IT capital is always buzz. It's literally a city that never sleeps. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
Stay informed and entertained with the new and updated NDTV News app. You can watch all our channels live, listen to podcasts, read breaking and exclusive news from around the world and more. Download the NDTV app today and get access to the best journalism and storytelling on your smartphone or tablet. The NDTV app. News that matters to you.
We reached an agreement on patrolling. We have gone back to where the situation was in 2020, and we can say with that the disengagement process with China, you can say, has been completed. The understanding, to my knowledge, is that we will be able to do the patrolling which we were doing in 2020.
NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the top-most news platform in the country. Number 1 in both online and offline reach in India. Beating all its competition, NDTV stands for trust.
Hello and welcome to India Sense, where I speak with global opinion makers.
The United States has made a strategic decision over the last 20 years to move closer to India.
Now, a $7 trillion economy seems a perfectly conceivable number.
If you want to be a national party, it's that you sort of accept the way the world is rather than want to endlessly hark back to how it was.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching NDTV. The nomination deadline for the Maharashtra Assembly election ended today with key political rivals, the Mahavikas Agadi on one side and the Mahayuti on the other. Final differences over seat allocations remained unresolved till the last few hours. In fact, MVA hadn't confirmed candidates on 11 seats and Mahayuti is yet to finalize candidates on 4 seats. There were key seats where there were no candidates, and in some multiple seats there were more than one staking claim. Well, it is a high-stakes election in perhaps the most economically significant state of the country, and there is much to prove for each of the 6 parties involved. For the BJP, it has to be a validation that 2024 Lok Sabha setback in the state was a one-off occurrence for the party, and for the Senas, it is a fight for legacy, legitimacy and power. And for the NCP, it is about who will chart the course for future for the party. In the course of the next few minutes, we will talk about prevailing issues in Maharashtra, expectations from the campaign, and of course, the final highlights of the nominations. Joining us now is Guru Prakash, who is spokesperson BJP. We have Clyde Crasto, who is spokesperson NCP led by Sharad Pawar. We have Dr. Shama Mohammed, who is a national spokesperson Congress Party, and we have Rohit Chandavarkar, who is consulting editor, Free Press Journal. Thank you all of you for joining me on this discussion. You, Shama, first, the Congress that put out a significantly commendable performance in Maharashtra in 2024 Lok Sabha elections was seen to be putting its house in order in the last few days, with of course NCP and UBT Sena pulling their weight, insisting on fighting more seats. In places like Baikula and Dharavi, I hear of multiple candidates. Is this lack of coordination impacting the Congress party's performance? Because you also have someone like Mr. Raut, Sanjay Raut, saying that, warning the Congress party against fielding candidates in seats such as Sholapur South.
See, we have no issues. We will get, everything will be all right. Whenever you have alliance partners, there are certain discussions. But none of our alliance partners said that when we see NCP Ajit Pawar, I feel like vomiting. That's what Eknath Shinde factions MLA said in a meeting, that I can't sit next to them because I feel like vomiting. So what is happening there? We are seeing that the people, they have been against, for example, Ajit Pawar, who they've always called in saying he has a gotala of 70,000 crore. All of them, including the Fadnavis, Prime Minister Modi, is now their partner. Then we are seeing in the Ajit Pawar faction, there has been ticket given to Nawab Malik. And who is Nawab Malik? Who put Nawab Malik behind bars? The Devendra Fadnavis government. They said that he is connected to Dawood Ibrahim. Just imagine, anybody from the Vikas Agadi has connection to Dawood Ibrahim, then they'll say we are terrorists, Islamization of the country, all those things. Now they are the ones who have put NCP Nawab Malik as a candidate. His daughter is also a candidate. So now there is no Dawood Ibrahim connection. I would like to ask Guru Prakash. They give teachers, madrasa teachers, they are increasing the salaries. Then there is no appeasement, no Islamization, nothing. But when
Shama, I will ask the BJP spokesperson that, but there are also differences within the MVA, which is why there are at least 10 seats which are still getting resolved. So would you also talk about, how are you going to solve that sort of coordination issues? And also, this is a story of aspirations.
You have used a word saying still getting resolved. You're right, it is still getting resolved. It will get resolved. There are issues, I'm not denying it. And there will be issues because in Mumbai itself, we do know that there are 2 parties who were fighting the same seats, but they were on different sides. But we will find a way. We have always found a way. That is how, and the Congress is always, we sacrifice for the good of the country, for the good of the state and for the good of Mahavikas Aghadi. So we might make sacrifices. That is for Mahavikas Aghadi to win. But unlike their party, there is Shaina NC who's been for years in Bharatiya Janata Party has gone to Shiv Sena. Narayan Rane's son is also gone from BJP to Shiv Sena, Eknath Shinde. So globalization is happening there. Ask them the questions about Dawood Ibrahim's connection to Nawab Malik. What has happened to that?
You know, how is the BJP going to justify its position of allying with a party that has fielded Nawab Malik? Because, you know, practical politics everybody understands, but BJP also prides on the fact that it is an ideologically, driven party. It is different from others.
No, Vasudha, I think you have mentioned a very important point of lack of coordination. I'll come to question as well. But we have to understand the unnaturalness of Mahavikas Aghadi. Balasaheb Thackeray said Congress party is a party of eunuchs. Balasaheb Thackeray said Congress party is a party of scoundrels. And today, Shiv Sena UBT is in alliance with Congress party. So I think Congress party or Mahavikas Aghadi representative, they have no locus standi or moral authority to speak on the strangeness of any alliance. Point number one. Point number two, as far as Maharashtra is concerned, we have to understand, and you also mentioned in your initial set of observations that Congress party had a remarkable victory in Maharashtra. For our kind information, it is very important when it comes to Haryana, Congress party often talks about the vote percentages, vote share. In Maharashtra, in the Lok Sabha election, Vasudha, the BJP-led Mahayuti was 43.03%. The Congress-led MVA was 43.05%. So this narrative, which is being amplified, which is being magnified, that MVA sweep the Lok Sabha election, I think we need a perspective on that. And as far as the question on Nawab Malik is concerned, let me make this very clear. Any political party, and especially an alliance which has fielded the likes of Abu Azmi, who has made a communally charged statement कि हम चार हो जाएंगे तो आपको बता देंगे हम क्या कर सकते हैं. They are speaking on the Holy Alliance or the political discourse. This is something which is beyond my comprehension.
Clyde, you have said there is Dawood Ibrahim is connected. No,
the lack of coordination,
the lack of understanding,
the lack of
why are you putting him as a candidate?
Vasudha, is it my turn?
Okay, now it is Clyde's turn. Had your turn is over. Clyde,
last 10 seconds.
Last 10 seconds. Guru, I'll come back to you. Guru, I'll come back to you. Clyde, Clyde,
Vasudha, last. I was second. Vasudha, last 10 seconds. Vasudha, I'm sorry, I need last 10 seconds.
Quickly,
I think talking of electoral discourse, talking of electoral discourse, Congress MLA Irfan Ansari has used word like rejected mal for a tribal lady in Jharkhand. Who is going to answer for that?
We have condemned it. We have condemned it. We have condemned it.
Speaking of
we have condemned it.
Shama, would you like to respond to that?
Rejected mal, you said it. Rejected mal. This is your mindset.
Okay,
this is your mindset.
Shama, quickly respond to that so that I can go to others.
I want to respond to that. I want to respond to that. We have condemned what he said, but when our sister Pahalwan was getting raped by Bridge Bhushan Sharan Singh,
I'm sorry.
Clyde,
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Irfan Ansari has said, did you answer for that? Apologize for that right here.
Okay, Clyde, you wanted to say something. Let me ask the same question to you. You know, is the NCP led by Sharad Pawar, which actually had, amongst the best strike rate during Lok Sabha elections, are you also feeling this brunt, this burden of lack of coordination in MPA?
No, I'll tell you, Vasudha, you talk about lack of coordination, you talk about having issues. We don't have issues like we feel like vomiting or nauseating, or we don't call anybody liar. Our issues are that we want to give the best candidate possible for that constituency. And that's a fantastic issue to have. That we are coming together, having dialogues and discussing to give the best candidate. So there's no issue at all whatsoever. I don't feel like vomiting when I sit next to any congressman or Shiv Sena guy. These people are feeling like vomiting. Now let me tell you something. The BJP spokesperson, and I think this is the narrative that they've got because they've got nothing to talk. They spoke about Balasaheb Thackeray, that they called the Congress whatever. Just a few months ago, the Honorable Prime Minister of India called Ajit Pawar.
Party of eunuchs.
I didn't speak when you were speaking, my friend. I'm a master at speaking in between. So don't get to that, please. Okay? The Honorable Prime Minister called Ajit Pawar corrupt, accused him of 70,000 crore scam, and then they took him in his party. I have a whole list of names. I can sit with you all evening, Sudha, and tell you the names of people.
The investigation is going on. It's done and dusted.
Guru Prasad, whatever your name would be, I'm sorry I didn't read your name, so I speak for that. Yes. If you want to talk in between, then I'm a master at talking in between with you. Then the Sudha will be on the side. So let's not get there. We are not on that.
I was spoken in between as well, sir.
No,
I was spoken in between.
I didn't speak when you were speaking. Did I speak? Did I speak?
With your allies. So I think you should keep this.
No, so maintain that decorum. You want to get into this banter, Vasudha, let's go for it. Okay. I'm happy.
Clyde, finish your point. I have to go to Rohit also.
Yeah,
Just
but then
finish your point.
tell him to allow me to finish.
Yes,
Sudha, please. Second point, he's talking about here and there. When the BJP went with Mehbooba Mufti, where was their morals? They're talking big things about all these things. So, BJP
okay, point taken. Let me also go to Rohit Chandavarkar.
Yeah.
Rohit, you're the expert here. 6 parties, 288 seats. Clearly, there are many who have been disappointed. Tell us how potent is the rebel factor here, because I was looking at some voices, and like Shama was also saying, Srinivas Vanga is the sitting Shiv Sena MLA from Palghar. He has now publicly expressed regret for joining the Shiv Sena. He said that, it's a grave mistake. He's calling somebody Dev Manus. So, Uddhav Thackeray. So, we also see UBT Sena hitting out at the Congress party for not deciding seat sharing earlier. So how are you looking at the role of independents and rebels in Maharashtra elections?
Yes, very good question. Vasudha, let's bring the discussion back on track, because we have to talk about what's happened today. Whatever we are hearing last few minutes is about, what's happened in the last 1 year, who's to blame, etc., and the usual expected things that we heard. Why are we discussing this today? That's the most important thing. That today, the limit for filing the nomination, the deadline for filing the nomination ended, and we now have the numbers of who's going to contest how many seats, etc., and we know who stands where. So the big takeaway, in my view, 2 points that I just wrote about also in my paper for tomorrow. First is that, the Congress and the BJP on their respective sides, in their respective alliances, they have managed to dominate. There was a lot of talk in the last few days, last full fortnight, that, maybe Mahavikas Aghadi will have a 3-way split, 90-90-90 or whatever. Similar things were discussed on the Maha Yuti side also. What will happen, whether Ajit Pawar will get enough seats, etc. Today, we have a clear picture that on the Maha Yuti side, the BJP will dominate with close to 150 seats that they have taken. And on the MVA, Vikas Aghadi side, the Congress will dominate because they are the only ones who are above 100. That is point number 1, and that's a clear picture that has emerged for your viewers nationally. The second point is there has been a lot of disgruntled people, a lot of aspirants on both sides of the political divide, I must say, in all parties, who are going to or who are likely to rebel, who are likely to non-cooperate with their party during the campaign, because we are hearing those voices in social media already and in public space already. So on the Congress side also, in the Shiv Sena also, the BJP also, on all sides, you will see, a leader like Atul Shah, veteran BJP leader from South Mumbai. Till today afternoon, he was, going to file his nomination, and last minute Mumbai BJP president Ashish Shelar had to convince him to stay back, and that seat has gone to Eknath Shinde's candidate, Shaina NC. Now, similar things are happening all across Maharashtra, within BJP also, within Congress also, all sides. So the second big point here is that there's going to be disgruntled leaders, there's likely to be rebellion, and many rebels spoiling the game for some of the parties, Vasudha.
Right. Shama, would you like to respond to that? Because, clearly, if there are going to be rebels and independents, it will also, impact the Congress party. And also, there is a direct BJP-Congress contest that's going to happen in most parts of Vidarbha. How do you see that, considering that the Congress just faced a setback in Haryana? And it's generally being said that wherever the Congress faces the BJP in a direct fight, the party fails to perform.
See, let's understand Maharashtra is not Haryana. Yes, it was a huge setback. But here in Vidarbha region, we are going to win. I'm 110% sure. See, let's understand. What have they done? Instead of talking about development of the last 4 years, what have they done? A lot of welfare schemes. According to Mr. Modi, it's called Rewari, all right? They're giving saris, they're giving utensils, they're giving kits to construction workers, increase in the salary of madrasa, to farmers, many other sops. So they're just giving, and of course, Ladli Behna. So all these are done. Why? They are saying that they have done a fantastic job in the last 4 years. Then why are you doing all these welfare schemes? Because they know that they are on the back foot and they are losing this election. The people of Maharashtra, whoever I've spoken to, are fed up of this government, because there is, Maharashtra is a very industrialized, it has a lot of funds, but there is nothing for the people right now. There is no employment. The Dalits and the OBCs are upset. The farmers are dying. I mean, they're killing themselves. They're committing suicide. So on a daily basis. So there are huge issues there. And I'm telling you that these small issues are not, what we are having in our party is nothing compared to what they are having. And one last point. He spoke about Mr. Ansari, and I'm telling you, I condemn what Mr. Ansari says. See my mouth. But you never condemned what Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh did to those wrestlers when he molested them, many of them. And another thing, in Jharkhand, the governor of Odisha, Raghubar Das, is campaigning in Jamshedpur. I want to know why is he campaigning? It's a governor. He has no right to campaign. There is proof and evidence of him campaigning.
Guru, see, that's an important point that Shama has raised.
We are worried about the election commission also. He spoke about Jharkhand, so I need to bring Jharkhand if he speaks.
Okay, this is about Maharashtra. Shama, we'll have to speak to Maharashtra,
the model code of conduct, and we have an issue with the election commission also.
Okay.
We don't know if the election commission is going to be fair.
Guru, would you like to respond to that? Because, using welfare is excellent, but, is the BJP, there's a template. We saw that in Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh. Well, ma'am, BJP, Congress also uses the model of guarantees, right? So I think both parties are to blame here if you're really talking about welfare. Guru, do you see this as a sustainable way to actually, address anti-incumbency?
No, why is it not Rewari now? Ask Guru Prakash.
Vasudha, if you look at the data, Vasudha, I think, Vasudha, are we going to derail the debate?
Guru, please, yes.
No, I think 2014 Vidhan Sabha election, BJP single largest party. 2019 Vidhan Sabha election, BJP single largest party. People are dying, people are unemployed. I think people of Maharashtra have spoken on 2 occasions in the past, and I don't think people of Maharashtra will go against us, because the Bharatiya Janata Party and the people of Maharashtra, there is a solid symmetrical connection. They speak of development. UP was in power in center, Vasudha. How much money they gave to Maharashtra? 1 lakh crore. Since 2014, NDA has given more than 10 lakh crore to Maharashtra for the development. Point number 2, maximum number of Vande Bharat trains in Maharashtra. Point number 3, more than 1 crore beneficiaries of Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi Yojana. Point number 5, Ayushman Bharat Yojana is a huge success in Maharashtra. Point number 5, you have to understand, do you see, Meenakshi Natarajan, Tanchumal, Digvijay Singh, Imarti Devi, Dalit women, Kamal Nath, inka ras nikal gaya hai. I think Meenakshi Natarajan, you have no answer. Archana Gautam, you have no answer. You have a special distaste for Dalit women. You have a special distaste and disregard for tribal women. For tribal women and Dalit women, you have a special regard, and this shows your feudal mindset. Your feudal mindset is precisely the Congress parties against Dalit and Adivasis. The Congress parties against Dalit and Adivasi rejected Mal, Irfan Ansari, Meenakshi Natarajan, Angika Datta, Radhika Khera, who is going to answer for all of them? Radhika Khera, Archana Gautam, Angika Paul, who is going to answer for all of them?
We'll have to let others speak, yes.
After Kuldeep Singh Sengar, who is he?
This debate is about Maharashtra, let's stick to that.
Meenakshi Natarajan, Imarti Devi, Dalit and tribal women,
would you want to say
no
something, the big takeaways on identity in Maharashtra? Yes.
This is a true face and true character of Congress party.
Yes. Rohit, yes.
Is that for me?
Yes. Clyde, I'll come to you, Rohit, quickly. You want to say some big takeaways from today's episode?
Okay. Is that question for me?
Yes, yes, Rohit, it's for you.
Yeah. So just to repeat one point that I, talked about in your previous show. See, the thing is, this time, like 1995, I can predict a situation where perhaps there might be too many rebels and too many independent candidates contesting, and maybe some of them likely to win. So we might have a sizable number of independents and rebels in the Maharashtra Assembly, which is something that we saw in 1995. After that, we have not seen that. So I think that is going to be an important factor. If you look at Mumbai or Vidarbha or any other place, any other region, what you can see is that there is going to be a very small margin with which the winning candidate will win. And if parties have rebels within their structure, they might eat away, 10,000, 15,000, 10,000,
It's going to be a fight of small margins.
Votes.
Quickly, Clyde, you wanted to make a point.
In that case, there will be, 30, 40, maybe independents in the upcoming assembly, and that will change the game completely. Pun intended, I'm saying rebels might spoil the party.
Clyde, quickly, I'm completely out of time. You wanted to make a point.
I'll make it very quick. 2 quick important points. One is, while the BJP spokesperson talked about, Maharashtra getting a lot of things, let's talk about 3 big tickets projects that went out of Maharashtra: Vedanta Foxconn, Tata Airbus, and Bulk Drug Park. That is the important part where employment and all kind of lost in Maharashtra. That's taken up. Guru,
10 lakh crore versus 1 lakh crore. You should answer for that.
Don't get there, Guru. If you start interjecting every debate that I meet you, I will interject.
Okay, I'm completely out of time. Completely out of time. Thank you all of you for joining me.
Don't make this your channel. Don't make this your channel.
Okay, joining me on this show. Thank you all of you for
mind
joining me on this show. The filing of nominations for Maharashtra single-phase assembly elections concluded today. But of course, there is a lot of uncertainty on many seats. Candidates will have until 4th of November to withdraw their names. But of course, we'll have to wait and see. This time, the dynamics of the elections are very different, and so are the alliances, and so is the chemistry. We will keep tracking that for you. But for now, there is an important ground report from this wonderful place, wonderful seat of Churchgate that my colleague has for you. Let's look at that special report.
This is the lifeline of Mumbai, the local train which connects the suburbs to the southern tip of Mumbai. And that's where exactly I'm taking you, Churchgate. Churchgate is known for the bustling railway station which brings thousands of people into the heart of Mumbai city. Like the name suggests, Churchgate is Mumbai's gateway to the southern part of the city. The colonial architecture around stands as a reminder of the city's rich history. Beyond its charm, the area holds political significance, especially during elections. It falls under the Kolaba constituency, a seat that the BJP has held for the past 2 terms, after Congress's multiple victories in the previous years.
अभी यहाँ पे क्या मालूम है क्या गाड़ी ट्रेन की इसका अभी व्यवस्था हर आदमी के लिए ऊपर जाने के लिए प्लेटफॉर्म पे छोटा छोटा ही है। अभी तक मस्जिद बंदर है साइड में, सब जगह पे छोटा छोटा ही है। अभी कुछ प्रॉब्लम मतलब कि यहाँ पे इलेक्ट्रिक का इसका पानी सप्लाई, पानी का भी इतना पुराना सिटी, मेन सिटी होते हुए भी इधर सब प्रॉब्लम ही प्रॉब्लम है।
When you are around Churchgate, don't miss out the chance to sample up some of the most popular food joints of Mumbai. Head over to Samrat for a traditional Gujarati thali. Or grab a seat at the Stadium Cafe and enjoy the delicious keema pav as you see the world pass by. And if you are craving for something continental, right opposite Stadium Cafe is this 67-year-old restaurant, Gaylord. And if you're done here, let's go have something sweet. This ice cream sandwich, you will only get it here at krustam.co. Yes, it's more than 70 years old and nothing better than this. So don't forget to eat this. You're welcome. A short walk from Churchgate takes you to Marine Drive, also called the Queen's Necklace. It is one of the most scenic spots in the city, perfect for an evening stroll, and you must have seen this in many movies, or to watch the waves of the Arabian Sea. The charm of Marine Drive lies in its simplicity. Whether you are a tourist or a local, this promenade is a must visit. We have moved away from Churchgate to the end of Marine Drive, which is Nariman Point. It is the financial powerhouse of Mumbai. Known for its impressive skyline and high-rise buildings, Nariman Point is home to major corporate offices and business hubs. Elections are coming. Can you tell me what do you like about this place? And second, what are the issues that you have been facing here?
Well, I personally feel that South Mumbai, particularly Marine Drive, is probably one of the best places in the country. I don't think I would like to go anywhere else when it's Marine Drive around here. But of course, there are several issues, particularly with civic issues. The air quality is the most important thing, number one. Number two, even though city of Mumbai generally is very safe for women, I personally feel there are certain areas around here also which are not very safe for women, for which the government should look into that.
While Nariman Point is all about business during the day, it transforms into a cultural hub by evening. NCPA, the National Centre of Performing Arts, hosts some of city's best music, dance and theatre performances. Whether you are into classical concert or contemporary plays, NCPA is the place to be.
फैसिलिटीज़ नहीं मिलती है हर चीज़ की, इसके लिए है, लेकिन सोच अभी है बच्चा लोगों की।
कैसे काइंड ऑफ फैसिलिटीज़ मतलब कहते हैं आप?
बिल्डिंग बनाए तो नीचे गार्डन एरिया, छोटे बच्चों के लिए प्ले एरिया नहीं रहता है, स्विमिंग पूल्स वगैरह सब कुछ चाहिए, जिम चाहिए सब। ऐसे तो बन रहा है अभी, मैं जहाँ रहती हूँ उस बिल्डिंग में स्विमिंग पूल भी है, जिम भी है, लेकिन ऐसे बच्चे नीचे नहीं खेल सकते, जो प्ले एरिया बोलते हैं ना,
एरिया का प्रॉब्लम।
हाँ, और ये तो फिर अभी ये सब ऑफिस है, तो यहाँ पर इतनी जगह तो अपने को नहीं मिलेगी। अब हमारे बाजू में मेट्रो आ रहा है वगैरह सब।
सो मेट्रो का काम चल रहा है यहाँ पे, हमने देखा है पूरा। हाँ, उससे कोई प्रॉब्लम है? नहीं, उससे कोई
प्रॉब्लम कुछ नहीं कोई प्रॉब्लम। मेरे तो बाजू में ही चल रहा है, लेकिन कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं।
This constituency represents some of Mumbai's most affluent residents, from corporate leaders to key cultural figures. The issues here range from infrastructure improvements, business regulation, environmental concerns along the coastline, and public amenities that cater to this diverse population. From corporate headquarters to election battlegrounds, this constituency covers the real essence of urban Mumbai.
I don't care for no songs and proses. I don't care for no sweet boys with roses. All I want is a touch of love.
I now request the Honorable Prime Minister to launch NDTV World and address the summit.
It was the grand launch of NDTV World by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. NDTV World, as he laid out his vision for the India century at the NDTV World Summit.
ऐसी सदी जिसमें भारत के प्रयासों से दुनिया में स्थिरता आए,
in the presence of those who are shaping our future.
मेरी तरफ से आपको ढेर सारी शुभकामनाएं हैं।
NDTV World, your new home for global news is here.
NDTV proudly presents NDTV World Summit 2024, the India Century. I now request the Honorable Prime Minister to launch NDTV World and address the summit.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's inaugural session at the NDTV Summit outlined his vision for the India century, driven by aspirational India.
हमारा प्रयास होगा भारत की सेंचुरी सिर्फ भारत की नहीं बल्कि पूरी मानवता की जीत की सेंचुरी बने।
The summit brought together prominent global leaders, highlighting India's pivotal role on the world stage.
Not just Indians trusting India's leadership, but the global South especially trusting India's leadership.
Permanent seat on the UN Security Council is something that should be India's right.
Canada is concerned, I think there are some very specific issues. I think a lot of people know that.
AI is going to be one of the most important drivers.
It's a very exciting time for India, Indian cinema as well at a global level.
NDTV World Summit was more than just a conversation. It was a confluence of ideas poised to shape our global future.
I don't care for no songs and proses. I don't care for no sweet boys with roses. All I want is a touch of love.
तालियों के साथ हम स्वागत करेंगे आदरणीय मोदी जी का।
छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज की।
घोषणा आणि जनतेचे पैसे लुटणं.
कट कमिशन आणि करप्शनला आमच्याकडे थारा नाही. त्यांचा परिवारवाद आमचा महाराष्ट्रवाद.
महाराष्ट्रामध्ये 1,75,000 जागा रिक्त आहेत. मग का मिळत नाही? राज्याची जनतेच्या घमाच्या पैशाची तिजोरी लुटण्यासाठी हे सरकार आहे.
पूर्वीच्या सरकारच्या काळामध्ये निधी देताना त्यांना असं वाटायचं की त्यांच्याच खिशातले पैसे चालले. शेतकऱ्यांना मोफत वीज देण्याचं काम आपल्या सरकारने सुरू केलं.
I've been reporting on all issues, big and small, from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of Maximum City is infectious. I bring in that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
India's IT capital is always buzzed. It's literally a city that never sleeps. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti is also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering.
Good evening, you're watching the news at 8 with me, Tanima Biswas. Over the next half an hour, we'll get you all the top stories from across the country and also what's making the headlines. But first, let's take a look at what's in store on the news at 8. Centre expands Ayushman Bharat health insurance scheme cover for all senior citizens above the age of 70. During his speech, Prime Minister targets Bengal and Delhi government, saying both states have blocked the scheme for the elderly. Aam Aadmi Party and TMC hit back, calling it a flawed scheme, say their own state schemes are far better. Nominations close in Maharashtra and Jharkhand, and the real poll battle begins. Confusion still over few seats as parties are still to finalize all the candidates. NDTV exclusive Vena leader Milind Deora, who's contesting from Worli, commenting on his run. Deora says people have lost their faith in Aditya Thackeray. Late night tragedy in Kerala's Kasaragod. Fire accident in festival injures over 150. At least 8 people seriously injured. Kerala government forms an SIT to probe the fire tragedy. Police take the president and secretary of the temple committee in custody. From north to south, big drug seizures in a single day. There's big drug hauls in Noida as well as in Chennai. In Noida, a meth lab is busted and drugs to the tune of 95 kgs of meth have in fact been seized. There's also 27 crores worth of meth which has been seized in Chennai in a raid. Mexican cartel link in Noida and Lankan's link in Chennai. Apple exports from India jump by a third in the first 6 months of the year. Apple manages to ship 6 billion iPhones from India, underscoring a big shift in their manufacturing dependency on China. Two great legends in one frame. Big B honors Chiranjeevi for his lifetime contribution. And big festive rush in markets on the occasion of Dhanteras. Ahead of Diwali, we will get you the latest trends. Our top focus, the Prime Minister's comment on state governments of Delhi and West Bengal blocking access to the Ayushman Bharat scheme has led to a fresh showdown between the Aam Aadmi Party and the TMC. In fact, this comment comes at a time when the centre has in fact expanded its Ayushman Bharat health insurance scheme to cover all senior citizens above the age of 70, irrespective of their economic background or their social status as well. But during the speech, Prime Minister Modi particularly said that he has not been able to help the people from these two states in Delhi as well as in West Bengal because the state governments there have in fact been blocking the scheme. Both Aam Aadmi Party and TMC have retorted to this charge made by the Prime Minister. saying that they consider the centre scheme to be flawed and have far better state health schemes. Listen into the top reactions on this story.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी, आपका हार्दिक आभार।
मैं दिल्ली के 70 साल के ऊपर के जितने बुजुर्ग हैं और पश्चिम बंगाल के 70 साल के ऊपर के जितने बुजुर्ग हैं उनसे क्षमा मांगता हूं कि मैं आपकी सेवा नहीं कर पाऊंगा। मैं उनसे क्षमा मांगता हूं कि मुझे पता तो चलेगा आपको कष्ट है, मुझे जानकारी तो मिलेगी, लेकिन मैं आपको सहाय नहीं कर पाऊंगा। और कारण दिल्ली में जो सरकार है और पश्चिम बंगाल में जो सरकार है वो इस आयुष्मान योजना से जुड़ नहीं रही है।
The Prime Minister's lament on Ayushman Bharat not reaching possible beneficiaries in Delhi and West Bengal has set off a political showdown between the BJP and the TMC and the Aam Admi Party. The Trinamool Congress says that the Prime Minister's comment is an attempt to confuse people and the Swasthya Sati, the state's own health insurance scheme, is better and has better coverage.
प्रधानमंत्री जी उनका स्कीम का रूल्स एंड जो रेगुलेशंस है वो डिटेल में नहीं बताया और पब्लिक को कंफ्यूज करने का एक पॉलिटिकल मैसेज दिया।
The TMC also says when it comes to funding, coverage, mode of implementation, cost and other parameters, Swasthya Sati fares better. The BJP has countered this saying there are complaints of Swasthya Sati cards not being honoured as payments are delayed to hospitals.
If a person has an income more than 10,000, then he is not entitled to get treatment under the Ayushman scheme. So what's the point in implementing such a scheme? Whereas on the other hand, Delhi government is providing treatment even up to 5 crores.
दिल्ली में अरविंद केजरीवाल नाम की एक भ्रष्टाचारी सरकार बैठी है जो नहीं चाहती कि दिल्ली के बड़े बुजुर्गों की सेवा की जाए।
Healthcare costs can be a huge burden for most families in India, and the adversarial positions that both the state and the union government have taken on an important policy initiative like health insurance vis-a-vis the Ayushman Bharat is an indicator that the cooperative federalism that both state and union governments espouse is often absent. Perhaps people should be given the choice to choose between the two schemes and decide which one works better for them. With camera person Aniruddha Tripathi, in Kolkata, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
Shifting focus now to the battleground state of Maharashtra. Nominations have closed for the Maharashtra elections today, but there was still no clarity in a few seats. This is a last-minute dash, unlike what we have seen in any state for that matter, leave alone Maharashtra. Officially, candidates have not been declared by the Mahayuti in 4 seats still, and by the MVA in 11 seats still. Nominations, of course, closed in the afternoon today at 3 p.m. And to explain to us further how exactly is this going to work out, I'm joined by my colleague Radhika Ramaswamy. Radhika, so what's going to happen now? I believe certain candidates who had their eyes on particular seats had also filed their nominations as independent candidates. Explain to our viewers what's going on in Maharashtra political landscape at the moment.
Absolutely. What we're seeing is quite unprecedented. There are multiple parties we're talking about, and all of them fighting elections together for the first time. Of course, Lok Sabha elections different from assembly elections, which is why there is a lot of confusion and chaos as far as candidate selection, seat selection is concerned. And which is what we saw today as well. Today was the last day of nomination filing. Despite that, there's no clarity over at least about 15 seats, MVA and Mahayuti combined. No clarity on 11 seats in MVA and 4 seats within Mahayuti, which means the final seat sharing formula is something we still don't know about. This is as a result of confusion over many seats. As you said, there are seats in which more than one candidate has shown interest and has filed nomination. So now there is a process of negotiation that will take place in the next few days, because there's withdrawal of nomination for which the deadline is November 4. So in seats where more than one candidate in the same alliance has filed nomination, there will be discussions on who should withdraw and what the other candidate will get in return. And there are many other disgruntled candidates who, instead of being given a ticket, they decided to contest independently. This is in Borivali. Gopal Shetty, a seasoned politician, decided to contest independently. He was not given a BJP ticket. In Mumbai Devi, where Shaina NC is contesting on Sena ticket, the BJP candidate has decided to go independent. Similarly, we know what happened with Nawab Malik. Of course, he was keen on contesting from NCP Ajit Pawar faction, but he was also ready to go independent, but he finally was fielded from NCP Ajit Pawar. Similarly, there are many seats in which there are one or more, there are more than one leader who is vying for that particular seat. Within MV as well, Baikla is an example, where both the Congress and Sena have decided, have candidates, leaders fielding themselves, or rather filing their nomination. So a lot of confusion over that, and independence also. Now, this is obviously going to create a lot of confusion among voters, because sometimes, they file as independent. Later, if they emerge victorious, they'll go back to the party and so on. So at this point, confusion, is continuing over 15 seats. We'll have to see whether there will be an official declaration over the formula in the next few hours.
Right, Radhika, that clearly, in a way, stresses on the fact that it's not been an easy alliance from both sides, for that matter, especially in terms of the seat-sharing math. As far as this is concerned, Radhika, thank you so much for joining us with that. And in fact, Radhika also spoke earlier today to Shinde Sena candidate from Worli, Milind Deora, who's taking on sitting MLA and UBT Sena leader Aditya Thackeray. Listen into what he had to say.
How hopeful are you as far as your win in this constituency is concerned?
Look, Mr. Shinde, who is the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, everyone can see whether you're an ordinary woman in the state, whether you're someone in Mumbai who uses public transportation, whether you're commuting by car. There is a huge spurt in infrastructure development, in economic growth and progress in Maharashtra, in ensuring that women, the ordinary women, that their hands are strengthened. And therefore, I believe that Shinde Saab himself is the candidate of Mahayuti in Worli. Milind Deora is just a medium to hear the voices of the people and take their voice and their concerns to the Chief Minister.
But how will your familiarity and influence in this particular constituency help? Of course, you've been an MP twice.
I know this area, I've represented this area in Parliament, and ultimately the party took a decision, the Mahayuti took a decision, the NDA took a decision that Worli is an area which 5 years ago, great promise. Aditya, young man who I've known for a long time, became MLA of this area. People had very high hopes. To be honest, I had very high hopes. And those hopes, unfortunately, have been shattered. So there's an approach to go to people, hear them out.
He is an existing MLA, so don't you think this contest is going to be tough?
Well, I've never shied away from difficult elections. My first election at the age of 27, I fought against a union minister that time, at the age of 27. So, fighting is not the thing. Do you really want to give justice to the people? For me, South Mumbai is an extended family. South Mumbai and Mumbai is my Janma Bhumi, it's also my Karma Bhumi.
Shifting focus now to Kerala, where 150 people were injured in a tragic fire accident in Kerala's Kasaragod. 8 of them are seriously injured. Kerala government has now formed an SIT to investigate the case.
Post-midnight at Anjutambalam Veerar Kavu in Kasaragod. The drums were beating, the Theyyam artist was performing, the firework display had just begun when suddenly a huge ball of fire erupted, leaving people terrified and in panic. 154 people were injured. At least 6 suffered severe burns.
They were bursting crackers. One of the crackers has bursted and fallen on the room where crackers were stored. So that is where the explosion has happened. And since people were sitting very close to the room where storage was done, there are many changes that the temple authorities have done, which they have not informed. So from temple authorities said, we see a lot of lapse. So we have 3 people under custody right now.
30 of the victims were brought to our hospital in a short time, where we had to announce a mass casualty code, and with the help of all the departments and teamwork, we could successfully stabilize all of the patients.
Some 1,500 people had gathered for the Theyyam festivities that begin first at this Nileshwar temple in North Malabar. Investigators say the mandatory safeguards like storing firecrackers at least 100 meters away from the fireworks display area had been ignored.
Police was not cautious about this this festival. They were make an inquiry regarding this exploitation.
8 people on the temple committee have been named in the FIR. They are accused of violating public safety, endangering lives under the Explosive Substances Act. With inputs from Kasargod, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.
Shifting focus now, and around 95 kg of drugs were seized as police busted a meth lab in the National Capital Region. It was a joint operation by the NCB and the Delhi police, where a Delhi-based businessman is said to be involved. Tihar Jail warden, one of the Tihar Jail wardens, is also under scanner. So far, the police have arrested 4 suspects, including the businessman. The narcotics were being manufactured for sale in India and abroad. As per the police, and members of a Mexican drug cartel called Jalisco New Generation or CJNG were allegedly involved in this operation. A similar story now being reported from Chennai as well, where there was a major drug seizure by the NCB, drugs worth 27 crore. Methamphetamine once again has been seized by the NCB in Chennai. 2 men, including a Sri Lankan national, has been arrested by the police there, by the NCB, beg your pardon, and 15 lakh cash has been recovered. The drugs were bound for Sri Lanka as per the investigators. Staying with news from the south, and after planning a takeover of land belonging to farmers in some of Karnataka's rural districts in the name of Waqf, the state government made a U-turn following protests by opposition and the farmer groups. The move comes just ahead of the by-polls in Karnataka. Pratibha Raman reports.
Following protests by farmer groups and a sharp political attack by the BJP ahead of the high-profile by-polls to 3 assembly constituencies in rural Karnataka, the state government was forced to roll back the notice to farmers taking over their lands in the name of Waqf.
ಯಾವ ರೈತರನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಒಕ್ಕಲಿಪ್ಸಲ್ಲ. ರೆವಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರು ಮತ್ತೆ MB ಪಾಟೀಲ್ ಅವರು, ವಕ್ಫ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರು ಜಮೀರ್ ಅಹಮದ್ ಅವರು 3 ಜನ ಜಂಟಿಯಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬಿಜಾಪುರದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ರೈತರನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಒಕ್ಕಲಿಪ್ಸಲ್ಲ. ರೈತರು ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ನೋಟಿಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ ಆ ನೋಟಿಸನ್ನು ವಾಪಸ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ.
लगभग 60-70 साल से ज़मीन उसका ही है, उसका पूर्वजों को प्रॉपर्टी है, उसके बाद में भी नोटिस आ रहा है. ऐसा अंधा कानून एक्सेप्ट हम नहीं करेंगे. यहाँ संविधान का रूल है, शरिया का रूल नहीं है.
It all started 3 days ago when 2 or 3 acre lands belonging to several farmers at Uppinabetagiri village of Karnataka's Dharwad seemed suddenly marked as Waqf property in official records. This raised alarm bells. The issue surfaced in other districts like Vijaypura and Raichur as well, when the Waqf board issued notices to over 400 farmers who began struggling to rectify the land records.
वो वक़्फ़ का आके हम हमारा करके बोले तो हम कहाँ जाने का है अभी. उसके लिए हमारा ज़मीन हमको रहने दे. उसके लिए हम सरकार से दरखास्त कर रहे हैं. हमारा ज़मीन हमको छोड़ दे. उसके लिए हमें माध्यम से हमें सरकार, केंद्र सरकार को भी राज्य सरकार को ये करता है. वक़्फ़ बोर्ड का जो कायदा है ना, अलीगल कायदा है वो.
Earlier this year, the government of India had introduced the Waqf Amendment Bill in the Lok Sabha with an aim to introduce reforms and also introduce legal mechanisms to reclaim illegally occupied Waqf properties. Now, this issue has sparked a larger debate about land rights and the power of the Waqf board. With camera persons Kumar and Govind, Pratibha Raman in Bengaluru for NDTV.
And South star Chiranjeevi was honoured with the prestigious Akkineni Nageshwara Rao National Award in Hyderabad. The actor was felicitated by Bollywood legend Amitabh Bachchan. The Akkineni International Foundation established the award in 2005 to recognize artists for their outstanding contribution to Indian cinema. This year, the event commemorated the 100th birth anniversary of Telugu cinema legend and actor Nagarjuna's father, Akkineni Nageshwara Rao. A video from the event showed Amitabh Bachchan honoring Chiranjeevi with a trophy and a shawl.
I'm also deeply honored that you have chosen me to honor my dear friend, my colleague Chiranjeevi, who has been such a dear friend. Whenever he calls or whenever I ask him for something, he's always there. Thank you, Chiranjeevi Garu. Much has already been said. I just wish to express my gratitude once again to Chiranjeevi Garu for this award. And thank you so much, Chiranjeevi, for your friendship, for your concern, for your love, for your affection, for your humility, and for your hospitality.
Some business news now, and Apple's iPhone exports from India jumped by a third in the first 6 months of the year, underscoring its push to expand manufacturing in the country and reduce dependency on China. The US company exported nearly $6 billion of India-made iPhones, an increase of a third in value terms from what it was a year earlier. And this is, of course, basis a report that puts the annual exports on track to surpass about $10 billion in the fiscal year of 2024. To Assam now, where in Guwahati School for Special Children, the specially able students have geared up to celebrate the Festival of Light. Earthen decorated lamps and other Diwali decor made by these children are in huge demand. Ratnadeep Chaudhary reports.
Specially abled students busy making earthen lamps and spreading festive cheer ahead of Diwali at Guwahati's Shishu Sharothi, one of the leading schools for specially abled children in Assam. Shishu Sharothi has been working for persons with disabilities since 1987, and this vocational unit was set up to teach crafts to specially able children. Over the years, the children here have made beautiful diyas and Diwali decor items.
तो इन लोगों को काम सिखाते हैं, इन लोगों की एबिलिटी वाइज जिसका जो काम जिसको आता है हम लोग वही उसको सिखाते हैं और ये सिखा के मैं इन लोगों को थोड़ा इंडिपेंडेंट बनाना चाहती हूँ। यहाँ हमारी स्टूडेंट ये दिया धुलाई करके सुखा के उसमें कलर करके बहुत सुंदर बनाती है और ये दिया हम लोग पैकिंग करके भी सेल करते हैं और हम लोग लूज कर भी सेल करते हैं।
This year's the school's vocational unit, which has 50 students, has made over 10,000 colorful diyas.
और हम लोग ये जो दिया है रेगुलर क्लाइंट्स है हम लोग का और नया क्लाइंट्स भी आता है हर साल, तो वो ऑलमोस्ट दिस ईयर ऑलमोस्ट 10,000 दिया बना रहा है एंड लास्ट ईयर हम लोग 5,000 दिया बनाया था तो उसमें पूरा सेल हो गया, तो इस बार डबल करके 10,000 बनाए। अभी वो भी पूरा ऑर्डर ले लिया है, नेटफी हाथ, नेटफी हाउस, एयरटेल और अलग अलग का क्लाइंट्स मिलता है इधर में।
The special touch for the Diwali diyas has brought cheer and festivity not just to these kids, but also to those who have contributed to the cause by purchasing them. With Nakul Rabha in Guwahati, Ratnadeep Chaudhary for NDTV.
And of course, it's Dhanteras today, and there's a big rush at the markets ahead of Diwali. My colleague Sakshi Bajaj gets us a ground report from Delhi.
You can see the traffic, the crowds really increasing here. We are in New Delhi's GK1 M Block market, and you can see while we have been speaking to jewelry store owners and we've been getting you the reactions there from consumers as well as what retail store owners have to say, now you can really see the festive spirit in the markets. You can see that people are here on Dhanteras, which is considered very auspicious, to not only buy gold and silver but also to buy diyas, to buy lots of items really to decorate their house ahead of Diwali for the festive season. Remember, it is Diwali soon, and you can really see the color, and we'll just speak to some customers and ask them what are they buying. So what are you buying this Dhanteras, and what are you buying for Diwali as well?
So for Dhanteras, I picked up some household things like kadhai and a frying pan, and I picked up one atta gunne wala parat, which is I think very auspicious.
Right.
So something in metal that's said that you have to buy for the household. Right. So that I bought because gold is reaching high sky, so can't afford that. Right. And for Diwali, I always traditionally buy these big diyas जो सारी रात जलते हैं. And this time Diwali being divided on 2 days, so I picked up a little bit more that I want all 3 days की Diwali पे दिया बड़ा वाला जले. And few other things, there's a chaukhut and there's a ghar wala 4 diyas and all just
Absolutely. So like you heard, many saying that look, gold and silver prices are at a record high. So you know what, we are going to buy other items, we are going to buy diyas. Given the fact that it is at least a 3-day festive spirit here now, we're also going to speak to some others ahead of Diwali on what they are buying. Hello ma'am, what are you buying ahead of Diwali?
I'm bringing Ganeshji and Lakshmiji home.
Right.
Not much, just basic diyas.
And what do you have to say about the quick commerce and e-commerce, momentum really at large picking up?
About that right now.
You don't want to talk about that? You're here to personally see what you want?
It's really amazing to be shopping and doing all these things, but the traffic is so bad and the congestions are really horrible. But yeah, we want to decorate our houses and make everything look so beautiful and expansive. So a little bit of hassle in the travel, but the things here are beautiful and I think it's really nice.
Right. So hassle in the travel, as you heard, but of course the festive spirit and the products in the markets, like you heard customers say, very, very beautiful. They want to come here, buy a lot of these things, look at them personally themselves to decorate their homes, and not just homes really. Remember, Dhanteras is considered very auspicious to, of course, buy the precious metals, gold and silver, and despite prices hitting a record high, despite the quick commerce and e-commerce trend coming in, you will hear voices really from retail stores and retail store owners telling us that look, we are witnessing similar trends to last year, and really the record high prices then don't seem to dent sentiment anytime soon. You can see the festive rush really at large, and of course you can see that many are here. Look at the Mehndi designs also being displayed just ahead of Diwali, so that really also taking center stage on Dhanteras and just ahead of Diwali. So what are you buying? What are you both buying this Diwali?
For rangolis.
Rangolis, right. So rangolis really, diyas to decorate the homes also taking center stage, as you can see in the market here. And of course, as far as retail store owners are concerned, they believe that look, a lot of customers want to come personally and choose what they want, whether it is jewelry or whether, as we can see in the markets, it is what they want to decorate their homes.
And there's also Diwali celebrations in Ayodhya. There's Deepotsav in the temple town, and there are, of course, images and videos which are coming in from Ayodhya. This is, of course, the first big Diwali in a way which the temple town will celebrate after the opening of the Ram Mandir there. We leave you with some of these visuals.
I don't care for no songs and proses. I don't care for no sweet boys with roses. All I want is a touch of love.
We reached an agreement on patrolling. We have gone back to where the situation was in 2020. And we can say with that the disengagement process with China, you can say, has been completed. The understanding, to my knowledge, is that we will be able to do the patrolling which we were doing in 2020.
NDTV proudly upholds its legacy of trust and credibility. According to the prestigious Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2024, NDTV is the topmost news platform in the country. Number 1 in both online and offline reach in India. Beating all its competition, NDTV stands for trust.
I don't care for no songs and proses. I don't care for no sweet boys with roses. I'm too busy, baby, making plans on how to get me one of them manly men. All I want is a touch of love.
Hello and welcome to India Sense, where I speak with global opinion makers.
The United States has made a strategic decision over the last 20 years to move closer to India.
So a $7 trillion economy seems a perfectly conceivable number.
If you want to be a national party, it's that you sort of accept the way the world is rather than want to endlessly hark back to how it was.
Modi is promoting the digitization of the economy, which is accelerating growth in the country.
New day, new show, a new experience.
Start your day with the news, not views.
We bring you stories that matter
and impact your life.
News that informs and keeps you ahead. From Maximum City, Mumbai,
to the seat of power, Delhi,
NDTV brings you the best breakfast show. Breakfast news on NDTV, 8 a.m. every day.
Good evening. You're watching The Last Word with me, Tanima Biswas, and our top focus on the show. Gujarat police has filed a third case against the Hindu senior journalist Mahesh Langa. The latest case alleges fraud and intimidation based on the complaint of a business owner. Mahesh Langa had already been booked by the Gujarat police in a theft case as well as a GST fraud case. Remember, the Enforcement Directorate has been conducting searches in Gujarat. A second round of searches were conducted by the agency 2 days back, and the Enforcement Directorate is now accusing Mahesh Langa of controlling a Benami firm, Adani Enterprises. There are a web of cases centered around the journalist, and the agencies are now looking to join the dots to see whether there is a larger conspiracy. The Enforcement Directorate, in fact, alleges that there could also be corporate espionage at play over here. These are some of the aspects that all the agencies are looking at, the Gujarat Police as well as the ED. And we will, of course, shortly play out what the Gujarat Police had to say earlier today. But let's just take a look at some breaking updates coming in on this story. Right, so breaking update coming in on this, and what we are being given to understand by our sources is that the CBI is also likely going to join the probe in this matter. There's a multi-agency probe already underway. The Gujarat Police and the ED were involved. Now the CBI is also likely to be part of the investigations. I'm joined by my colleague Shrimi, who will bring us more updates on this new angle which is emerging. Shrimi, what's the latest that we have on this aspect that another agency might be roped in for investigations in this case?
Yeah, that's right. What we are picking up from our sources is that, this is going to be clearly a multi-agency probe where CBI could put up this matter, keeping in mind the extortion, the corruption are involved. Remember, the corruption and extortion part is being dealt by the Central Bureau of Investigation, and what we are, getting from the CBI sources is are awaiting state police to sort of wrap up this matter and file prosecution complaint, or you can call it charge sheet in this particular matter, or the state government is likely to refer this matter to CBI, and from there CBI could pick up this case there. And meanwhile, Enforcement Directorate, which is looking at Prevention of Money Laundering Act and also the Hawala transaction at this point of time, is going to expand its probe, because they are also looking at the suspect Benami transaction from the DA Enterprises, which is controlled by Mahesh Langa. In fact, this whole issue started with the GST fraud matter on October 7th, where GST Central Authority in collaboration with state police has actually busted this whole ITC racket, which is wrongly claimed by Dhurvi Enterprises through 12 entities, including this DA Enterprise, which is controlled by Mahesh Langa. And what we are also hearing, that the information may also go to Income Tax Department, because police has recovered some unaccounted cash from the DA Enterprises, which income tax may also look into.
Right, Shrimi. So one more agency which is being roped in for the investigation, CBI, likely to look into the corruption angle as well as the extortion angle, which are some of the aspects which are emerging. These are still early days in the investigation, but what we are being given to understand is that the ambit of the probe is likely to widen. Now, Shrimi, thank you so much for joining us with the breaking update on this story. Let's also listen in to what the Gujarat police had to say earlier today after filing that third case against Mahesh Langa.
आज उसके खिलाफ हम एक और एफआईआर दाखिल करने जा रहे हैं। लगभग 28 लाख के करीब चीटिंग की एक एफआईआर, एक कंप्लेनेंट आया है। और उस एफआईआर की डिटेल से पहले मैं बताना चाहूँगा कि यहाँ हमने जो अभी तक इन्वेस्टिगेशन की है, वो पुलिस बहुत ही प्रोफेशनली कर रही है, कोई उसमें डाउट नहीं है। इसकी डिटेल में बताना चाहूँगा। सबसे पहले तो इसमें जो जीएसटी डिपार्टमेंट की तरफ से एक एफआईआर दाखिल करी गई थी 7 अक्टूबर को। उसके बाद महेश लांगा और कुछ एसोसिएट्स को अरेस्ट किया गया, घर पे उसके सर्च की गई। उसके घर पे करीब 20 लाख कैश मिले, कुछ डॉक्यूमेंट्स, इंक्रिमिनेटिंग डॉक्यूमेंट्स मिले। नई जो एफआईआर है ये चीटिंग की है। चीटिंग एक वन पर्सन जिसने कि पैसे दिए थे लगभग 28 लाख के, और उसने उनका काम नहीं किया और पैसे वापस नहीं दिए। अब उसे पता लगा कि महेश लांगा अरेस्ट हो गया है, तो ये कम फॉरवर्ड और उसने एक एफआईआर हमने दाखिल उसकी अभी कर रहे हैं।
To discuss this further, I'm joined on the show by Neeja Chaudhary, senior journalist, and Anurag Naidu, political analyst. Thank you to both of you for joining me on this discussion. Coming to you first, Neeja, what are your initial thoughts about the way the case is progressing?
Look, from what the early information that's coming, that for an editor of a major newspaper, national newspaper, to be picked up, I mean, I don't understand extortion, corruption, and what worries me is that he's been charged for getting access to confidential papers, having those in his hands. Now, being certainly, we've all had access to papers that have, been government or have been leaked to us, or have been shown such papers in the discharge of our duties, which is to bring accurate, free, and fair information to the public, to our viewer, to our reader. And that is part of our job to do and to check that it is correct. And if he's being charged, I mean, we need more information on what has been happening. But if he's being charged for, if certain bureaucrats have given him information and certain bureaucrats are under the scanner, And for a journalist to have FIRs and agencies go for him, I mean, I find this very, very worrying. And it's also true that reputed agencies of representing the journalists and media persons, whether it's Editors Guild of India, whether it's the Press Club of India, whether it's the Indian Women's Press Corps, whether it's the editor of The Hindu, I mean, these are credible names in the journalistic profession today. They have expressed their anxiety, their worry, their concern that this is happening, and that the charges against him be dropped. So I find this, of course, as I say, more information needs to come out. But to take this kind of multi-agency action against a senior journalist who seems to be doing his duty and bringing information to the public domain, as I say, is not a very happy, is not a development that one is happy about at all.
All right.
Because this is a free country. I mean, this is a parliamentary democracy, free media. We're supposed to be doing our work.
Right. Neerja, these are the opening comments, of course, from Neerja's side. Let me take the question now to Mr. Naidu. Anurag Naidu, the Hindu as well as the Editors Guild, taking off on the point that Neerja Chaudhary was making, both the Hindu as well as the Editors Guild have also pointed out that it's a journalist's right to deal with papers which may have sensitive information. This is part of the process that many journalists would follow in terms of researching on a story, in terms of getting a scoop. So there's a possibility that the documents which are under scanner by the Gujarat police were part of his research for a particular story. That angle is there, which is a point which several journalists are raising and will continue to raise.
Yeah, thank you for having me on the show, Tanima, first of all. All these concerns, whatever Neerja is telling, whatever has been raised by Editors Guild of India or the Press Council and everything, first of all, you have to understand, journalism is a very important pillar of this democracy, and journalists are not sacrosanct, right? So although, the fact of the matter is, yes, the job requires you to have access or lay access to certain important and confidential documents at times, because you are working as in a profession which is in public interest by and large. But it cannot be ruled out that you will use of the document that you would possess would purely be on the basis of an ethics, or it purely will be the discretion of your own ethics. I mean, it also depends on the individual. Of an individual working for a reputed media agency, in this case maybe Hindu or maybe something else, does not entitle you from the fact that you cannot claim yourself to be sacrosanct and above the lines of jurisdiction in this country. The fact of the matter is CP coming out and look at the state. I mean, for me, what's more worrying is in the times that we live in, 20 lakh rupees of cash found, the account violations and GST fraud, you need to understand GST is one of the most meticulously run agency today. Every bit of money can be tracked. Everything is digitized. And if you have the first FIR coming from GST, I'm sure it is not just like that. And what are the allegations, right? If CBI is coming in, if they are telling that it may be a matter of a corporate espionage. These are serious allegations, and we have had several instances in the past where journalists have been involved in lobbying, journalists have been involved in corporate affairs and in influencing the corridors of power. We cannot rule away. The fact of the matter is, what I would expect for the agencies that are backing the gentleman is to go out like we do for all other cases. Go out and watch out for the jurisdiction, watch out for the courts, and take this matter to the trial, go to the depth of the investigation and find out for the people what's true and what's not true, because it is really important for the people. Of course, you all come in. I really don't understand. At times we take moral high ground telling, right, we have VIP culture. You're not paying the tolls. We have a state elections in Maharashtra. They've all requested for the toll waiver. We see many, I would say many schemes from the government, whereas we also need to step up as a moral responsibility, be open to the investigation, be open to the idea of being investigated.
Yes, we understand that these are early days in the investigation, and Neerja ma'am also commented on the same thing. But taking some of these points over to Neerja now, the ED has clearly said that they are probing a larger conspiracy, even looking at an angle of corporate espionage, as Mr. Naidu was also mentioning over there. Now, some of the charges as he was also pointing out, that there are 3 cases. There's one on GST fraud, there's also a case on theft charges, and a 3rd case which was filed, the latest case to be filed, in terms of cheating and criminal intimidation. Now, since there are these angles and these charges at play, should this case be seen clear only from the ambit of a journalist's rights being infringed, or is there a need for us to hold our horses? Neerja.
Look, of course, a journalist is not above law. That goes without saying. But when a journalist is involved and a journalist is doing his duty, in the course of doing his duty, which I say is ferreting out information and bringing it to public view, then a case like this has now come to light with major media agencies expressing their concern, then it becomes very important for the agencies to bring to give the details of what they are finding, maybe even take these a body like Editors Guild of India into confidence about what their investigation is about, what it's yielded. And I think because it is a senior member of the media involved, and that in a parliamentary democracy does cause a lot of concern. And therefore, I would say the details of the investigation must be in the public domain also.
Exactly. And that was, in fact, my question to, that was going to be my question to Anurag Naidu, that the second FIR particularly has, in fact, been pointed out that it's not accessible to the public online. Possibly, the police are basically saying that this relates to some sensitive information in some documents. Now, but the concerns rise from the fact that there's a lot of opaqueness. Should the details not be made public so that some of these questions, which are concerns being raised by the journalists, can also be addressed? So there needs to be a more transparent approach, which the agencies and the police should follow?
Well, I think these are, it is really unfair to ask for an openness at this point in time, particularly when the investigation has just started, because in situations like this, we tend to open it up to a media trial, public trial, and a lot of other opinions come in, and that really disturbs the flow of investigation. We've often seen media being misused to influence certain cases, misused to influence, peddle certain narratives, and this has been the trend. I think in interest of fair and transparent investigation, like the CP also, the Gujarat police mentioned, and of course CBI is now being involved, I think it should absolutely be left to the agencies and their discretion. And one very important point that comes in my mind, and correct me if I'm wrong, I was just reading the report of Editors Guild, the media out, the press release of Editors Guild, and Neerja ji did mention about taking them into conference. Right. If I'm not wrong, they were mentioning about dropping off an FIR. And you cannot go and request an agency to drop off an FIR. I mean, an FIR is an FIR. It has its own sanctity. I think it's okay. I mean, let's be open to investigation. Nothing wrong. And let us uphold to the highest, level of our professionalism. And we all, I mean, as a media fraternity, I really respect some of the great gentlemen and ladies out there who's doing great job. But it is a collective responsibility to, hold ourselves, hold our horses, and let the investigation take its own course. Because the multi-agency investigation is very important. You can accuse of a state police of doing something wrong, or maybe you can accuse of one particular agency, CBI or ED. But when there's a multi-agency, definitely it's a cross-functional team, and I'm sure you will have the right information coming out in the course of time.
All right, Neerja Chaudhary, Anurag Naidu, thank you so much for joining us on the first discussion on the show. Now, today's Dhanteras, with the mega shopping bonanza playing out as we speak, the surge in e-commerce activity is projected to add to the country's economic growth. Retailers expect record-breaking sales, especially as Diwali shopping peaks, aligning with the World Bank's revised forecast for India's 7.5% GDP growth in 2024. This festive surge could counteract recent economic slowdowns and contribute significantly to India's trajectory as the world's fastest-growing economy. In this perspective, in this background, we ask, will India's Diwali festivities continue to energize the market momentum and spur high consumer spending? Joining me to discuss this further is Orma Sorabji, an auto sector expert, and Sanchita Mukherjee, economist. Thank you to both of you for joining me on the discussion. The first question, if I can take to you, Ormaz, talking numbers, do you see the uptick in growth being further fueled by festive spending? If you just look at the automobile sector, which is of course one of the big indicators, big economic indicators every time. So do you think that this is going to fuel consumer spending further, going by what we have seen in the run-up to Diwali?
Well, it's definitely going to be a shot in the arm for what is really a pretty, tough market. Inventory levels have gone up to 650,000. Obviously, consumers are not buying the way they used to. But I think, with fantastic deals and offers for Diwali, that is the time to spend. I think this is going to be a cracker of a month. It will be a good month. And what we are seeing is consumers are willing to spend. And as you said, consumer spending has increased. But at the end of the day, Indians are very value conscious and very value driven. And, it's the deal that they are seeking across the board. They're getting some really good offers, and I think that's what's going to drive sales. So I think it'll be a good month for the auto sector. Much needed shot in the arm, as I said. But after Diwali, I think, the outlook isn't very good.
Okay. Sanchita, bringing you on in this discussion, do you see this boost, shot in the arm that Ormaz is talking about, can this boost be sustained over time, or do you see this as a temporary phenomenon?
I see the slowdown as a temporary one, albeit there has been a slowdown for a while. I mean, if one were to look at the economic indicators, there's been a slowdown in the auto sales. There's been a slowdown, a little bit of a soft number on the GST collection side, on the power offtake, on cement sales, all of that, right? However, having said that, most economists are very, very optimistic that, yes, we've had a phenomenal monsoon season. The Indian Meteorological Department has predicted that the monsoon this year has been 7.6% above the average monsoon levels of previous years. So hence, we actually do forecast a higher rural demand revival in the second half of this year. Having said that, also there would be some support in terms of fiscal spending, front-loaded fiscal spending, as well as a bit of easing on the monetary side. Is the expectation is still there, because right now, if you were to see, the banks almost slowed down massively on their credit spending in March, April, because the loan to deposit ratio was too high and RBI wanted that to come down. But having said that, RBI has now currently kept the liquidity well, and we do expect interest rates to come down, which will be a further shot in the arm. So I would assume that this is a temporary slowdown of the Indian economy.
Okay. Ormaz, while we talk about, growth and, the surge in terms of which we see during this festive season, while the demand surges, there are also supply side pressures. Will that dampen the growth spurt that we're looking at right now?
Well, I think the supply side pressures have largely eased. I think clearly, the whole semiconductor challenge and, coming out of COVID, production constraints, all that, that has largely eased. In fact, it just suddenly opened up, and clearly it's totally flipped. It right now very much is a buyer's market. And I think we were seeing supplies on certain specific models where, let's say they've always had a pull and there's been some production constraints. So it's more model specific than overall industry specific. I mean, you've seen something like the Mahindra Thar Rocks, which we just did a story. The waiting list has gone into 2026 because there's been huge demand. They've not been able to ramp up production for that. You've still got cars like, some of the hybrid models, which are still, of Toyota's still got a waiting list over there. So you've got specific models which have, far more demand than the manufacturers supply. But overall, I think, it's back to the pre-COVID days where dealers will really have to move metal. They'll really have to woo consumers. And, I think what's really alarming that, the whole idea was to keep the pipeline tight and not have these inventory levels built up. But I think inventory levels are becoming alarmingly high. And, that again puts a lot of pressures on the whole retail network. So I think, it's good time for the car buyers. Lots of great deals to be had out there. And I think, as I said, when they see a good deal, they are willing to spend. I think what I'd also like to add is what we have seen is that the overall ticket price has gone up. Really, you see, the center of gravity of the market is now really in this 15 lakh range. Below it was around below 10 lakhs. So, the propensity to buy, people want to indulge more. And I think that's really good for the auto sector because they are moving into more profitable segments, or the more profitable segments are becoming the core of the market, which is good for the auto companies because, we've typically been a high volume, low margin market, which we still are. But this is a movement in the right direction for the auto industry.
All right. Getting in Sanchita now on the next question. There's retail and automobile and white goods, precious metals, which primarily drive the festive spending. Can these sectors contribute to concrete GDP growth? Because after all, core sectors that lead to GDP growth are primarily agriculture, infra and manufacturing. They aren't as impacted during the festive season.
Oh yes, in fact, if you see private consumption, it's almost drives 60% of our GDP. So it's very, very critical that this annual festive spending contributes meaningfully to the economy. Having said that, I think the rural demand revival, but as my fellow panelists said, there is a lot of incremental demand which is coming on quality, on the premium segment, because we are a very aspirational society, wherein consumption in the luxury segment, in consumer goods, in auto, all of that will contribute very meaningfully. And I think recent surveys also show that despite e-commerce doing well, most Indian households prefer, almost 70% of Indian households prefer to do an in-store buying experience. So all of that does contribute. I think apart from rural demand, if you were to see the urban consumption in air passenger traffic, high-end travel, all of that real estate offtake, it has been consistently quite high for the last couple of quarters. What we would like to see is actually a lot of fiscal spending from both the state government side and the central, once I think the state government elections are done with, followed by a monetary easing by the central bank, which will give a further fill up to the consumption cycle.
Right. Urma Sorabji, Sanchita Mukherjee, thank you so much for joining us on this discussion. And as we are talking about festive spending, and Dhanteras is of course being celebrated today, and my colleague Sakshi Bajaj went out to the markets in Delhi to capture people's mood there.
See the traffic, the crowds really increasing here. We are in New Delhi's GK1 M Block market, and you can see while we have been speaking to jewelry store owners and we've been getting you the reactions there from consumers as well as what retail store owners have to say, now you can really see the festive spirit in the markets. You can see that people are here on Dhanteras, which is considered very auspicious, to not only buy gold and silver but also to buy diyas, to buy lots of items really to decorate their house ahead of Diwali for the festive season. Remember, it is Diwali soon, and you can really see the color, and we'll just speak to some customers and ask them what are they buying. So what are you buying this Dhanteras, and what are you buying for Diwali as well?
So for Dhanteras, I picked up some household things like kadhai and a frying pan, and I picked up one atta gunne wala parat, which is I think very auspicious. Right. So something in metal that said that you have to buy for the household. Right. So that I bought because gold is reaching the high sky, so can't afford that. Right. And for Diwali, I always traditionally buy these big diyas जो सारी रात जलते हैं. And this time Diwali being divided on 2 days, so I picked up a little bit more that I want all 3 days की Diwali पे दिया बड़ा वाला जले. And few other things, there's a chaukhut and there's a ghar wala 4 diyas and all just these
Absolutely. So like you heard, many saying that look, gold and silver prices are at a record high. So you know what, we are going to buy other items, we're going to buy diyas. Given the fact that it is at least a 3-day festive spirit here now, we're also going to speak to some others ahead of Diwali on what they are buying. Hello ma'am, what are you buying ahead of Diwali?
I'm bringing Ganesh ji and Lakshmi ji home.
Right.
Not much, just basic diyas.
And what do you have to say about the quick commerce and e-commerce, momentum really at large picking up?
About that right now.
You don't want to talk about that? You're here to personally see what you want?
It's really amazing to be shopping and doing all these things, but the traffic is so bad and the congestions are really horrible. But yeah, we want to decorate our houses and make everything look so beautiful and expansive. So a little bit of hassle in the travel, but the things here are beautiful and I think it's really nice.
Right. So hassle in the travel, as you heard, but of course course, the festive spirit and the products in the markets, like you heard customers say, very, very beautiful. They want to come here, buy a lot of these things, look at them personally themselves to decorate their homes, and not just homes really. Remember, Dhanteras is considered very auspicious to, of course, buy the precious metals, gold and silver. And despite prices hitting a record high, despite the quick commerce and e-commerce trend coming in, you will hear voices really from retail stores and retail store owners telling us.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola Edge.
I don't know songs and proses. I don't care for no sweet boys with roses. I'm too busy, baby, making plans on how to get me one of them man. All I want is a touch of love.
NDTV proudly presents NDTV World Summit 2024, the India Century. I now request the Honorable Prime Minister to launch NDTV World and address the summit.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's inaugural session at the NDTV Summit outlined his vision for the India Century, driven by aspirational India.
हमारा प्रयास होगा भारत की सेंचुरी सिर्फ भारत की नहीं बल्कि पूरी मानवता की जीत की सेंचुरी बने.
The summit brought together prominent global leaders, highlighting India's pivotal role on the world stage.
Not just Indians trusting India's leadership, but the global South especially trusting India's leadership.
Permanent seat on the UN Security Council is something that should be India's right.
Canada is concerned, I think there are some very specific issues. I think a lot of people know that.
AI is going to be one of the most important, drivers.
It's a very exciting time for India, Indian cinema as well at a global level.
NDTV World Summit was more than just a conversation. It was a confluence of ideas poised to shape our global future.
घोषणा आणि जनतेचे पैसे लुटणं.
कट कमिशन आणि करप्शनला आमच्याकडे थारा नाही. त्यांचा परिवारवाद आमचा महाराष्ट्रवाद.
महाराष्ट्रामध्ये 1,75,000 जागा रिक्त पण का भरत नाही? राज्याची जनतेच्या घमाच्या पैशाची तिजोरी लुटण्यासाठी हे सरकार आहे.
पूर्वीच्या सरकारच्या काळामध्ये निधी देताना त्यांना असं वाटायचं की त्यांच्याच खिशातले पैसे चालले. शेतकऱ्यांना मोफत वीज देण्याचं काम आपल्या सरकारने सुरू केलं.
I've been reporting on all issues.
Centre expands Ayushman Bharat health insurance scheme cover for all senior citizens above the age of 70. During his speech, Prime Minister Modi targets Bengal and Delhi governments, says both states are blocking the scheme for the elderly. Aam Aadmi Party and TMC hit back, calling it a flawed scheme. They say their own state schemes are better. Nominations close in Maharashtra and Jharkhand. Real poll battle begins. Confusion still over few seats as parties are still to finalize all candidates. NDTV exclusive with the Shinde Sena leader Milind Deora, who's contesting from Worli. He says people have lost their faith in Aditya Thackeray. Late night tragedy in Kerala's Kasaragod. Fire accident during a temple festival injures over 150 people. Police take president and secretary of the temple committee in custody. Big drug hauls in Noida and Chennai. A lab busted with 95 kgs of meth, and in Chennai, 27 crore worth meth seized. A Mexican cartel is believed to be involved in Noida and Lankans in Chennai. This is Left, Right and Centre, and I'm Maria Shakil. Our top story this hour, the Prime Minister today hit out, in fact has come all guns blazing against the Trinamool Congress and Aam Aadmi Party over non-implementation of the Ayushman Bharat scheme. Prime Minister Modi said so while launching the Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana health insurance scheme, which is for senior citizens, and under the scheme, people aged above 70 years will get a health cover up to 5 lakh annually. Those already covered under the Ayushman Bharat scheme will get a top-up of 5 lakh crore. The scheme, in fact, aims to benefit about 6 crore senior citizens. Prime Minister Modi, while targeting the governments in Bengal and Delhi today, said that tendency to oppress ailing people for political interests is inhuman. First the report, and then I bring in the guests.
मैं दिल्ली के 70 साल के ऊपर के जितने बुजुर्ग हैं और पश्चिम बंगाल के 70 साल के ऊपर के जितने बुजुर्ग हैं उनसे क्षमा मांगता हूं कि मैं आपकी सेवा नहीं कर पाऊंगा। मैं उनसे क्षमा मांगता हूं कि मुझे पता तो चलेगा आपको कष्ट है, मुझे जानकारी तो मिलेगी, लेकिन मैं आपको सहाय नहीं कर पाऊंगा। और कारण दिल्ली में जो सरकार है और पश्चिम बंगाल में जो सरकार है वो इस आयुष्मान योजना से जुड़ नहीं रही है।
The Prime Minister's lament on Ayushman Bharat not reaching possible beneficiaries in Delhi and West Bengal has set off a political showdown between the BJP and the TMC and the Aam Aadmi Party. The Trinamool Congress says that the Prime Minister's comment is an attempt to confuse people, and the Swasthya Sati, the state's own health insurance scheme, is better and has better coverage.
प्रधानमंत्री जी उनका स्कीम का रूल्स एंड जो रेगुलेशंस है वो डिटेल में नहीं बताया और पब्लिक को कंफ्यूज करने का एक पॉलिटिकल मैसेज दिया।
The TMC also says when it comes to funding, coverage, mode of implementation, cost and other parameters, Swasthya Sati fares better. The BJP has countered this, saying there are complaints of Swasthya Sati cards not being honoured as payments are delayed to hospitals. The AAP also hit out at the PM as it claims it has transformed healthcare services in Delhi in its tenure.
If a person has an income more than 10,000, then he is not entitled to get treatment under the Ayushman scheme. So what's the point in implementing such a scheme? Whereas on the other hand, Delhi government is providing treatment even up to 5 crores.
दिल्ली में अरविंद केजरीवाल नाम की एक भ्रष्टाचारी सरकार बैठी है जो नहीं चाहती कि दिल्ली के बड़े बुजुर्गों की सेवा की जाए.
Healthcare costs can be a huge burden for most families in India, and the adversarial positions that both the state and the union government have taken on an important policy initiative like health insurance vis-a-vis the Ayushman Bharat is an indicator that the cooperative federalism that both state and union governments espouse is often absent. Perhaps people should be given the choice to choose between the two schemes and decide which one works better for them. With camera person Aniruddha Tripathi, in Kolkata, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
And joining me now, R.P. Singh, national spokesperson of the BJP. Anmol Panwar is a spokesperson of Aam Aadmi Party. Tausif is a political analyst. He'll be joining me shortly. We have Amitabh Tiwari, political strategist, and Shikha Mukherjee, a senior journalist. I can see Tausif as well. He has joined as well. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Anmol, the question here is that give people the choice. Why deprive particularly the elderly of what is a legitimate need for them, particularly in the health sector?
You have raised a very pertinent question, and this is what I want to ask BJP spokesperson. Mariaji, you would agree that access to quality healthcare is a fundamental right and it is essential for the well-being of every individual regardless of age. So what the PM Ayushman Yojana they are offering is that there's a cap of only rupees 5 lakhs. The people can avail only up to 5 lakh of rupees. And only the ones whose income is less than 10,000. In Delhi, even an unskilled worker, the minimum wage is more than 18,000. Moreover, we have seen that this scheme has been a massive flop in the past. It is marred with corruption. And it's the CAG report from 2018 to 2021 which says so. Let me read out what the CAG report, while highlighting the discrepancies, including invalid name, unrealistic dates. It said that more than 2.25 lakh cases where the date of surgery was shown to be later than the date of discharge. It says that people, more than 9 lakh beneficiaries were registered against a number 9999999999. So this is the reality of the scheme. Whereas on the other hand, Delhi government is providing free and quality world-class healthcare facilities where there's no restriction, there's no bar on the amount which a person can avail. So there's no comparison between the two schemes. Even the patients from Haryana and Uttar Pradesh, adjoining states of Delhi, they come here for treatment.
Okay, you have made your point. Let me bring in Tausif. Tausif,
And just 10 seconds. And why is there a cap of rupees 5 lakh on healthcare funding of elderly citizens?
Well, RP Singh will explain everything.
When their needs significantly increase over the period of time.
Okay, that can be explained as well. But Tausif, in 2019, West Bengal Chief Minister, who also holds the state's health portfolio, had said that the reason why the state government, her government, is not implementing the Ayushman Bharat scheme was because she accused the Prime Minister of taking credit. So if it is about credit war, take the credit, but ensure that the poorest of the poor get access to health through this scheme.
Absolutely. The Prime Minister's only goal is to take away the credit for this scheme, which was introduced by Mamata Banerjee government much before than Ayushman scheme was introduced by the central government. In 2016, Swasthya Sathi scheme was introduced by Mamata Banerjee, and Ayushman scheme was introduced 2 years later in 2018. Now, you see, the scheme which Mamata Banerjee government runs is much more efficient and much more beneficial in comparison to Ayushman. Secondly, the beneficiary under the Ayushman has to make a contribution. There is only 60% funding provided by the central government on the Ayushman scheme, whereas in Swasthya Sathi scheme, it is fully funded by the state government of West Bengal, and it is applicable to entire 10 crore population of West Bengal. Anybody living in West Bengal holding the Swasthya Sathi card is eligible to take benefit benefit under the Swasthya Sathi scheme. Whereas in Ayushman, there are restrictions, there are so many loopholes, and ultimately the cause, to serve the people and the larger and mainly the poor section of the people is served by Swasthya Sathi scheme more efficiently than Ayushman. So why should Mamata Banerjee, take away the Swasthya Sathi scheme and allow Mr. Modi, whose only intention is to take credit? Mamata Banerjee will not allow the politics to come in the way when it comes to state healthcare and welfare schemes to serve the people of Bengal.
Okay, you have made your point.
And the track record shows so.
Okay, you have made your point. So now all the questions are directed towards RP Singh. Will you please respond to the charge that is coming in from the Aam Aadmi Party and the TMC that their state-centric schemes are far more better than the insurance scheme which is being offered by your government, and that is the reason why they are not agreeing to it?
Thank you for inviting me, and happy Dhanteras to all your viewers, and especially those who are being left out of this scheme, because their Dhanteras is not so good this time. But let's talk about what is my friend Mr. Aman was talking about some ghosts and all those things. This is the clipping from the Hindu newspaper, which says 65,000 ghost patients were underwent tests at Mohalla Clinic. This is this year itself, in Delhi last year. Anti-Corruption Bureau is investigating that. 65,000 ghost patients. The problem with the Aam Aadmi Party is I give a challenge to them. Come with me and tell me one government hospital where treatment is not being done and then they recommend it to the other private hospital. Or tests are being conducted, with tests which are not available in the private hospital are being allowed to be conducted by the private hospitals. This is all fabrication, all falsehood. And also not that this much. There were 3 children who died in their scheme of Mohalla Clinic. Here it is. 3 children dies because of the Mohalla Clinic cough syrup, which was given by the Mohalla Clinic doctors, prescribed by the Mohalla Clinic doctors. But the problem is that this scheme is not only available for both the states. This is not only available for a person to get his son treated in the state only. If a person from Bengal wants to get himself treated outside the state and he is working somewhere else and still want to be treated outside the state, he'll get the benefit. Today, there are more than 52 hospitals in Bengal and 78 hospitals in Delhi, which takes the patient from Ayushman scheme, which treats the patient under the Ayushman scheme. So, if someone is not well in Bengal and he wants to be treated in Delhi, he'll be treated in a hospital like Gangaram Hospital. Or someone in other state wants to get himself treated in Bengal and then he's working there as a migrant labor and he wants to be treated in Bengal, he'll get the advantage of that in the Bengal also. So the scheme is pan-India and then has the advantage of that one can use hospital pan-India, not only in the state. So, but they have to do politics. They have to deprive people of the above 70 years of age of the scheme. And also, tell me please that the scheme of the Bengal government is applicable on the people who have 70 years of age or no?
Tawseef, since you said that it's for every citizen of Bengal, what is the response to that? Does it cover everyone above the age of 70 as well?
The only person who is being deprived by Swasthya Sathi and what is being deprived is Mr. Modi, the credit. But the benefits, all the benefits under the scheme is available to all the people of Bengal, irrespective of the age limit. This age limit was there in Ayushman scheme, which they have now corrected. There was no such limit under the Swasthya Sathi scheme.
Okay.
So far the deprivation is the question of deprivation arises. Only Mr. Modi is deprived of not taking a credit, and the credit goes to the Banerjee.
Okay. Yes, R.P. Singh?
No. Give me a second.
Yes.
Tomorrow, someone gets unwell who hails from Bengal and is living in Delhi for some time period.